1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, what are we mad about today? College football playoff rankings. And Pearl, welcome, by the way, good morning. I never thought the committee was going to make Notre Dame sweat like this. They moved Notre Dame down. They had Alabama jump Notre Dame in the latest playoff rankings, even though Notre Dame blew out Stanford and Alabama barely hung on, needed a late forced fumble to beat Auburn, who stinks, and yet somehow that was a boost for Alabama. So now what you need to know today when you are going to the water cooler or hanging out in your office or the warehouse or whatever is that Notre Dame's on the chopping block. And if BYU wins the Big 12 championship over Texas Tech, it is very possible that Notre Dame is out of the college football playoff.
Why do you say Auburn stinks? I mean, I know what you mean, but like they have a lot of future pros, and they sure gave everybody in the top 20 a hard time this year. Like
they're a 5-win team. I mean, they fired their coach. They're a 5-win team. If you think that Auburn, if that was a quality win for Alabama to move them up, Notre Dame blew out Stanford. They were up like 45-3 at one point.
That's Stanford. What does that prove anything? Again, you get Notre Dame this ACC schedule. Who cares? That doesn't mean anything. I think a close win over Auburn is 50 times better than a win over Stanford right now.
Wow.
I mean, Auburn is...
You're reaching here. You're reaching.
Look at Auburn throughout the season. Like, they've been within one score of half the field.
But nobody has treated them like that.
I don't care what they treat them like. It's quite obvious the SEC is 50 times better than the ACC right now.
Well, that's fine, Pearl, but what do you think that Alabama deserved to jump?
Yes.
They both won.
Yeah.
You're really going to carry the water for Alabama like that.
Alabama deserves to be higher than Notre Dame. Vanderbilt deserves to be in the field. Texas deserves to be in the field. The field is messed up. I mean, there are two teams. There are three teams outside of this field who could beat anybody in the top four. Miami, Texas, and Vanderbilt could definitely take any of the teams that are going to be in the top four to the woodshed.
But that's not what this is about. Like, you're going to start complaining now about the makeup of the seeding and how people get in. Yeah, of course, James Madison is not going to be favored over if they played Vanderbilt, Texas, or any of the other teams that are getting left out. Teams. What's that?
I said the top four teams. I'm not talking about James Madison. I think a lot of the teams that are not going to be in could win the entire thing. I think Texas could beat anybody right now. I honestly think Miami would be favored against half these teams that are in the field.
That's possible.
I just don't think the field is super accurate. I don't think they're going to have the 12 best teams in the country.
Well, but they didn't last year. I mean,
no, you're right.
You're complaining about something that now you're just complaining about the structure.
I'm complaining that's what I'm talking about.
Right, but I'm complaining about things that we've been watching for weeks now with this particular group of candidates that all of a sudden seems to be flip-flopping sort of willy-nilly to me. I didn't think that, Alabama looked so great against Auburn, a team that nobody has given respect to this entire season, but now they want to, whereas Notre Dame blew out Stanford. I just didn't think we'd see a world where they would put Notre Dame clearly on the chopping block. And so, again, if BYU beats Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game, Texas Tech is in.
BYU
as a loser, they're in. And BYU would be in. So
they're 2 touchdown underdogs.
Well, but it's college football. And chaos
if you watch BYU this year, do you really think they're going to win that game?
I have no idea. I don't. Sometimes you always say this. It's hard to beat a team twice. You say this to me all the time.
I've watched a lot of BYU and Bear, and I just do not see this. I don't see that happening. I think Texas Tech is very, very good. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be wrong, obviously, but I don't see that as a potential upset. I think that, especially with a lot on the line for Texas Tech, because of seeding,
Yep.
I don't think that they let this one go.
And Texas Tech, obviously, you mentioned it, a lot to play for with the seeding because with Texas A&M losing to Texas last week, A&M fell out of the top. They're down to 7 now, but they fell out of the top 4, and so that really opened up a door for Texas Tech to get a bye. So here is Hunter Yurachek. He's the head of this whole college football playoff committee thing. Remember, the first guy had to resign in scandal. We're not sure what the scandal was. But
Hunter Yurachek is the one that had the 6-7 joke last week, right?
Yeah, he did. Did he have any jokes for us this week? I don't think so.
I hope not. I didn't cut the stuff, EJ.
Yeah, he needs a new joke writer. Meanwhile, here's Yurachek saying Alabama-Notre Dame was a spirited debate, but the win over Auburn was the difference.
The debate between Alabama and Notre Dame over the past 3 weeks has been one of the strongest debates we've had in the room for the past 2 years that I've been a member of the committee. And I think this week, as we looked at those two teams and how closely they have been over the past 3 weeks, Notre Dame went on the road, had a strong win at Stanford, but Alabama went on the road in a rivalry game, looked really good, especially in the first half, getting up 17-0.
Okay, I guess. I mean, they're both rivalry games technically. I don't know. This one never really passes the smell test to me.
Notre Dame Stanford's a rivalry game? Going back to John Elway?
Not the Iron Bowl. I don't know, but they do play each other.
They do give out a trophy, right?
They do?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah, I think I saw
Notre
them
Dame
give out a
Stanford,
trophy.
what? The nerd high GPA trophy?
Probably.
Yeah. Something like that. They give you a
Play
textbook.
nice over there, Dartmouth.
Meanwhile, let's hear more from Hunter Yurachek. Manny, can I hear cut 3? As far as teams like Miami and Notre Dame, who will not play this weekend, guys, conference championships. I believe we have 9 conference championships this weekend. It doesn't mean they can't move around, even though they're not playing.
Idle teams can move following the results of the championship games and how they impact the teams that are around those that play in the championship game, and data such as strength of schedule, teams that may be idle. So, yes, teams that are idle can move up or down.
So we're not set with Miami definitively being behind Notre Dame no matter what. Is that fair to say?
Reese, following the championship games, we will re-rank the top 25 teams, and we'll see where they fall.
I hate what the committee is doing to people like my EJ and the Miami Hurricanes fans. They're like leaving open, Pearl, this glimmer of hope. So Miami is at 12, and Notre Dame obviously falls to 10, with BYU nestled right in the middle at 11. And this is like, you're giving them hope when, I'm sorry, EJ, like, I don't think that there is really hope here. I know technically you're alive, but I just think that the committee has consistently put Miami behind Notre Dame over, since they started doing their rankings. And I just don't see how this is going to change, even if BYU wins.
I mean, it seems like they're just trying to get this TV show the ratings that they want for next week. Because I don't understand it either. Unless the committee, which, look, these guys are a bunch of crooks and cronies anyway.
Oh.
So if next week they decide to change the rules, kind of like this week when they decided to just change the rules and decide, you know what, Alabama, sure, you beat the team that has 5 wins, so now you're ahead of Notre Dame. Notre Dame looked great in their game this weekend. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to anything they do.
Yeah.
So unless they decide randomly to say, you know what, now we're going to put head-to-head together, then maybe that's the glimmer of hope. But to me, it feels like, hey, stay tuned next Sunday for when we do this all again to see if Miami actually gets ahead of Notre Dame this week. It's sick.
Find out on the next episode of the CFP rankings. On
who's
ESPN.
getting
Ball Z.
screwed?
I mean, the ratings can't be that big on this little show. Everyone says that. Is it really a needle mover to have this show? I don't even know why they're doing this show anymore. It
I know
seems
I don't
like
watch it.
Awkward City, USA. What's that?
I know I don't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 7:30 ESPN show. It's like, it's that or Sports Center or whatever. It's not a big deal.
It just gives talking points. It like keeps it all alive. And I have a conspiracy theory about what's going on with this year's college football rankings. But first, question for the audience. So Alabama and Georgia are going to play in the SEC championship game. If Alabama loses, it would give them 3 losses, okay? Now, one would be to Georgia, a team they beat on the road. Feels almost impossible to do, right? Beat Georgia in Athens. This is crazy. Might be the best win of the year of any individual team, right? But meanwhile, would the committee leave Alabama with 3 losses out of the field.
Sick 'em! Wow. Give me Alabama!
Now, caveat here, BYU would have to beat Texas Tech in the Big 12 title game, and Alabama would have to lose the SEC championship game for this to happen. But do you think there's a world, Pearl, where Alabama gets left out of the 12?
I don't think so. I think they would keep Alabama in it. They're pretty consistent about not counting that conference championship game against you.
Well, I don't know. Last year's Big 12 loser, they definitely counted against them because they got blown out. Arizona State was the only team that made it into the college football playoff.
Who is the? I don't even remember who was.
It was Iowa State.
Yeah, I mean, but the big one was SMU was totally safe.
Well, they got in because they played a really tight game, I guess, against Clemson.
But I think they were going to get in anyway. They were ranked pretty high.
I think it was going to be kind of it was kind of like I think at halftime in that game they were down like 17 points. I think they were like, this may be the end of SMU, and then they made it a close game. So I think it was a little more
also
up in the air.
You have a little bit different this year because you do have James Madison. I know this is crazy, but James Madison out of the Sun Belt is ranked as of yesterday for the first time. So if James Madison, I know it's like crazy. We're talking about Alabama, Notre Dame, Miami. Now I'm going to talk about James Madison versus Troy, but it really does matter, Pearl. If James Madison beats Troy and if Tulane beats North Texas, those are going to be 2 spots that are going to get into the college football playoff if UVA loses to Duke. Like, there's still quite a bit to be determined here as far as conference champions.
Oh, God. It would be, I don't know if it would be bad, but there's going to be so many big stars and exciting players that potentially get left on the sideline here. Honestly, obviously, we would all want to see Arch Manning. We'd all want to see Jeremiah Love. I think we'd all want to see Diego Pavi, who might win the Heisman, and they're all going to be home. We do get to see Jeremiah Smith, but generally, like, it is going to be a dud of a playoff, right?
Well, I mean, I think brand already does matter in these rankings. So how much are you really going to bend over backwards now to get the stars in? Like, you already get the glamour programs in.
Well,
although maybe not if Notre Dame gets left out.
I'm saying if Notre Dame's left aside, Alabama, God forbid Alabama, Notre Dame, Texas are left aside, I think that would be, as you said earlier in the segment, a game changer on the structure of this field.
Right. So can I give you my conspiracy theory? And you're welcome to weigh in on these rankings, by the way. 888-710-4ISN. Miami continues to get screwed in this bracket, in this playoff, which is crazy. You can call in about Texas. You can call in about BYU, who retained their coach yesterday. Kalani Sitake is going to stay. Alabama, could they get left out? Ole Miss jumps a spot. They jump Texas A&M. How Oregon continues to skate by. How
it's
Oregon
a win-loss record, right? That's all they look at.
Well, not with BYU, because BYU only has 1 loss also.
Yeah, but
and Oregon has 1 loss,
that,
and BYU has 1 loss, and Oregon is ranked 6 spots higher than BYU.
Oregon's in the Big Ten, and BYU's not in the Big Ten.
But you always say, like, what's the strength of schedule? Who did Oregon actually play in the Big Ten?
I don't understand.
They got beat by Indiana.
I keep hearing about this BYU strength of schedule. It's come up a lot on my social feed. I'm like, Texas just beat Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, and Texas A&M, and I'm hearing about. I don't understand. I'm hearing about Arizona and Utah. Like, what's going on with the strength of schedule debate with BYU?
I don't know, but Arizona had a major jump in this poll.
And it seems like in part to bolster BYU's case.
So you're welcome to weigh in on this from whatever angle you'd like to talk about it. My biggest angle is I'm shocked they put Notre Dame on the chopping block. I am, because if something funky happens in the Big 12 title game, Notre Dame is going to be out. I strongly believe that. Alabama, I think they will keep in even with 3 losses if they lose to Georgia. But Pearl, I got a theory.
Okay, what's the theory?
Here's my theory. I think that the committee, or at least some factions of the committee, are looking at this field as an opportunity. I think that the powers that be in college football want one thing, which is expanding this playoff. Now, they can't figure out how to do it. Big Ten wants to go to 24 teams. I think the SEC wants to go to 11 and 5, like 16-team playoff. Everyone's got an idea of how to slice the pie, but everyone knows that they want more playoff games because more playoffs equals more money. And you can charge so much to the networks for these winner-take-all, win and move on, single elimination playoff games more than you can charge for any other thing in this world. I think they want fans to be up in arms about this bracket. They want to see fans looking at James Madison and Tulane or North Texas, or they want to see fans Notre Dame left out, the ACC champion left out. They want to upend this thing so much, or at least some people in the room, so that fans say, well, you got to expand. And they have kept pushing back the date of when they have to decide if they're going to move to 16 teams next year or change it for next year. We're still not set on that.
Right. You're right. They pushed it back. It was supposed to be December 1st, I thought. Yep.
They've pushed it back like 3 times now.
Right.
And I think they're waiting to see the Notre Dame fans get upset, the Alabama fans get upset, all the ACC fans get upset, and they will say, well, look, now we have to expand. Look how ticked off everyone is.
Yeah. So you think this group is smart enough to come up with a master plan like that?
Yeah. Well, that's where my theory falls short. This does not seem like a smart
Yeah, that's
group.
like the government conspiracy theories. The government is lucky they can get your tax return back, let alone just hide aliens. Anyway, I totally see what you're saying, and I just don't think they're smart enough to do that. I honestly think the driving force behind the awkwardness of the rankings, I'm stealing this from Bruce Feldman, the week-to-week rankings puts them in all kinds of crazy, it's like a game of Twister, like, oh, crap, we put this team ahead of this team earlier. If they had just put the ranking out in the last week, I think it would be different. I think they are screwed by the week-to-week nature of this thing, and that's why they have all these contortions. Like it's totally insane. They should just wait till the end of the year and do a ranking. I know that would be awkward too, but honestly, I think it would look much different if because basically you said, why is Oregon number 5? Because Oregon's been up there the whole time. They can't just all of a sudden start dropping it down.
I don't know. They all of a sudden dropped Notre Dame.
One spot.
I know, but still, they didn't do anything to deserve to drop.
Right, but again, that's the nature of a week-to-week ranking. If they had just said, well, we're not going to really do anything until the end of the year, then they could have come up with their 12 teams. Just let the AP and the coaches poll be the rankings all year, and then just come out at the end. Otherwise, it happened last year, too. The week-to-week rankings cause them all kinds of headaches. And that's why I don't think they're smart enough to have a conspiracy theory. I think they're like, crap, we put Texas A&M here last week. Now we got to do this week.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Unless they want the outrage, unless they're courting the outrage because they want people to say, well, this field simply is not big enough, and we need more teams, more TV revenue, more money all around. No, but you're right. I mean, this is not exactly Mensa meeting every week. I mean, the first guy is out because of some kind of scandal that happened in his personal life. Like, we didn't get off to a great start here with this particular committee.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that they're really just trying to do an impossible job. And I got to be honest, I'm not sure I would do a much better job here. I would obviously have strength of victory would be my number one component. I would not even care about the loss record, and I'd probably get kicked off the committee.
Yeah.
So... and honestly, like the impact, I'm more curious, what's the impact going to be? I mean, is this just talk that Steve Sarkisian is saying we're never going to schedule an early season thing again? Because I said it yesterday, like, I don't care who your quarterback is, who your running back is, who your OC is. The most important person in any building is who's making the early season schedule. And you better have crappy teams on that schedule. So I think they are sending a strong message that we will never consider strength of record. It is a 0 factor out of 100.
Did you see yesterday what Alabama did? I guess this has been out there before, but Alabama, Pearl, took your advice, but not with a blue blood team. They have now pushed a game that they had against University of South Florida till like 2038 so that they can play Charlotte. Oh, no, Chattanooga.
Yeah, I mean,
like you're talking about Texas played Ohio State at the Horseshoe.
I think Texas.
We're talking now about Alabama wants to duck USF.
Yeah, I mean, Texas got the big problem. They got Ohio State next year, and I think they got 2 Notre Dames to start the season. Like, Notre Dame probably wants to keep that because they're going to be in the ACC, and they need somebody in the top 25 on their schedule. But Texas should just eliminate all of them. Say, you're not going to put us in. We're not going to play your game, and we're going to take all those big ratings games away from you in September. I would play hardball if I was Texas. I'd be really upset.
Well, the money matters more at the end of the season, now at the beginning.
You think pulling away Texas, Ohio State for week 1 would not have an impact? That's a huge deal to Fox.
Oh, it's a major deal, but we're talking about billions of dollars for extra college football playoff games.
Oh, yeah,
they'd
want
rather
that too.
have that. Those.
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely.
Meanwhile, let's go to Tyrone, who's in Dallas. Tyrone, your Hurricanes, man, you and EJ just get together and console each other. What's up?
Yeah. Good morning, y'all, man. We just keep getting kicked in the teeth, but I can also say that this Christian Ball has to blame himself because I know what the committee looking at. The committee is looking at the 2 losses And they're also looking at how that they were an onside kick away from losing to Florida State in the third loss. But what I do want to say is, if Bama loses 3 and Miami and Notre Dame, even though I don't like Notre Dame, are out, then this is a problem with the committee. And people really need to, a lot of college football fans need to question what's going on.
Well, it's funny, Tyrone, because they want to tell you that losing in the conference championship game, and we're penciling, I don't know why we think that Alabama's going to lose. They just beat Georgia earlier this season in Georgia, but let's just say Alabama loses. They would be a 3-loss team that could possibly get into the bracket, jumping teams like Notre Dame with 2 losses, Miami with 2 losses, and a lot of others. I think that these conference championship games are such big money makers for the conference that they don't want Alabama, Georgia, I don't know, like anyone else saying, you know what, we don't want to play the conference championship game anymore. They don't want a team saying, listen, if we're going to lose to Georgia in Atlanta for the SEC championship game, and that means we're out of the bracket, then bleep off with your conference championship game, and we just don't want to play. And they need to protect these conference championship games because it's millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And also, too, you really shouldn't be penalized because you advance to that game and you're putting a potential L on your schedule. That should not count against you in any way.
Yeah, but who knows with this committee? 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. All right, let us know what you think about the latest rankings. Again, Notre Dame on chopping block. If BYU wins, Notre Dame's out, I think. Alabama, not safe at all, potentially. Still a lot to be determined, and obviously Miami continues to get screwed. Because think about it, Miami did beat FSU. It did take a little bit, but they did beat Florida State, whereas Alabama lost to Florida State. But as we know, what happens in week 1 apparently doesn't matter except when it's Texas. Yeah. I don't know.
Big winner is Ohio State, by the way. I mean, who are they scared of in this bracket? They would be thrilled to have Alabama and Texas. And I know you guys don't consider Vandy a threat, but they don't want to see them either. They're like, bring on the ACC, bring on James Madison, bring on Tulane, please.
Man, there was some big news of Vanderbilt yesterday. We'll get to that. 888-710-4ISN. So much to do today. College football's got us all mad this morning. Tell us if you're mad about it as well. Again, 888-710-4ISN.
All right, Maggie, it was a busy sports night last night.
How'd you do?
I had a great night. I'm kind of on a roll. I actually, the key is you just go all in on the Thunder as much as possible because they are awesome. The way you can really enjoy it is Prize Picks. And I got to tell you, it's the best time of year because there's so much going on. It's the holidays, and you can keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. All you have to do is pick 2 to 6 players, pick more or less on their stat projections, and watch your lineups light up like the holidays. I was watching college basketball last night, and they had these really, really funny Drewski ads where he's playing Prize Picks and he kind of lights his kitchen on fire. But he was having fun, and that's the whole point of Prize Picks. And now there's a new thing where you get early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may have the option to cash out of those winnings before the game even finishes, Maggie.
Okay, tonight, what am I looking at? Ryan Conwell. You know him. Of course, he's a guard for Louisville. They are playing Arkansas tonight, John Calipari's Arkansas team. So give me Ryan Conwell more than 19.5 points. That's numero uno. Numero dos, Pascal Siakam. Pacers tonight against the Nuggets. I'm going to fade Pascal Siakam less than 22.5 points, and that's my Wednesday, everybody. If you want to play along with us, jump on board. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code MNP. Get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code MNP on Prize Picks. You get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. So win or lose, you get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P. You're in a 4-minute break. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Every year we do the same thing, Maggie. You and I say to each other, don't get too mad. The committee doesn't know what they're doing. Let's not take it personally. And every year we take it personally. We get fired up just like everybody else. I was so mad at that dumb show, and I don't even think should exist last night. And then I got mad at Heather Dinich. I'm like, Heather, why are you keeping this Miami-Notre Dame thing alive just to keep everyone tuned into ESPN? But then what if they do flip Miami and Notre Dame, even though neither team plays? The whole thing is ridiculous, and I'm a sucker just like all of you.
Listen, don't get mad at Heather, all right? She's doing the Lord's work over there.
I don't know. If they don't flip-flop Miami Notre Dame, I'm going to blame Heather. She's keeping it alive. Even more so than the committee guy. It felt like the ESPN planned out that whole Miami Notre Dame question. That was the last question. Basically, Miami's number 12, Notre Dame's number 10. The last question to the AD who was representing the committee was, can they flip-flop even though they don't play? And he said anything is possible. Then Heather immediately had a graphic ready on the flip-flop. And feels like ESPN produced that whole drama. So Is this real?
I think things could get real if BYU wins. Like, ultimately, yeah, they can try to produce this like the whole thing is a television show, but they do need to go with some results. And if BYU wins the Big 12 championship game, I think it does throw a wrench into things. I think the Notre Dame would be out. I think Alabama could be uncomfortable. As much as it seems sacrilegious to leave the runner-up of the SEC championship game out of this, the conference, the Final 12, I don't know.
I mean,
a lot rests on BYU.
But forget BYU. I mean, I think what they're saying, though, is Miami and Notre Dame could flip-flop regardless of BYU because whoever wins the ACC title game could bolster either Miami or Notre Dame's schedule. Is that the thinking? They're saying, like, forget the BYU spot. They're saying nothing could happen. All of a sudden, we wake up on Sunday morning and Miami is ahead of
I
Notre Dame.
I think that also you would need Alabama to lose because Miami beat Florida State and Alabama lost to Florida State. Like, all these things would have to happen. Meanwhile, let's take Kevin in Oregon. Good morning, Kevin. What are you mad about?
I'm not mad about anything, but I had an idea. What if they picked the 12 playoff teams before the conference championship games, but they use the conference championship games? For example, say in the Big Ten, Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon are going to get in. So no matter what happens in the conference championship game, Indiana or Ohio State cannot be ranked below Oregon. But they use the results of the conference championship games to decide the ultimate seeding of those 12 teams that they picked beforehand.
I mean, you could do that, Kevin. I mean, it takes away a little bit of the suspense for the final rankings. You know,
it does, but it eliminates the idea that the conference championships, which they say shouldn't make any difference. It would completely eliminate that if you pick the 12 teams before those games.
Yeah, you know what I think they want to leave open, Kevin? It's not a bad idea, but I think I understand why. A couple reasons. One, what if something catastrophic happens in the conference championship game? Now, I'm not rooting for it, but let's just say like there's an injury to a quarterback or something, Pearl, right? They lose 50-0 or something like that. I think the committee likes to keep the wiggle room because as we've seen, a big player going down does impact the college football playoff.
Yeah, I mean, it seems a little unfair when you put it like that, but that's reality, you know. Or a coach leaves again. What if a coach leaves?
Yeah, well, they did not dock Ole Miss. And we'll get to Ole Miss I think we've peaked as far as how ridiculously absurd this whole situation with Lane Kiffin and LSU has become.
Probably, unless Penn State can convince one of the final 12 teams. I mean, it's not totally out of the picture that because there's still that Penn State vacancy. What if they convince somebody who's in the field to leave, and then the committee's like, well, sorry, you're out.
We'll get to the details of that story in a moment, but just the cliff notes is that Ole Miss is allowing now LSU offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss Jr., who has accepted a job at LSU. They're allowing him to come back to call plays for Ole Miss during the college football playoff. Lane Kiffin can't come back. Lane Kiffin can't come back because you can't have him in the building to recruit against you, but the offensive coordinator can come back. So we'll dive more into that in a minute.
Most of the coaches, that's the norm. I mean, to not let a coach is not that we've had that many years of this, but most of the other, Summerall's coaching, everybody else is coaching.
Yeah, but Tulane and Florida aren't exactly rivals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. But anyway, we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into all that. Meanwhile, Andrew Bogish is here with the latest and greatest. Hey, dude.
Guys, good morning. Your headlines are sponsored by Prize Picks. On Prize Picks, you simply pick 2 to 6 players, choose more or less, and watch your lineups light up like the holidays. Download Prize Picks and use code PRIMETIME and get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. In overnight NBA stunner, the Clippers divorcing Chris Paul just 21 games into their feel-good reunion. CP3 was supposed to spend his last season with the team he's most known for. Instead, he was posting on social media at roughly 2:40 a.m. Eastern that he's being sent home from their road trip in Atlanta. Clippers president Lawrence Frank issuing a statement saying they'll work with Paul on the next steps of his career. They are not blaming him for their 5-16 starts.
Hello, police. Chris Paul trying to beat me up.
Nobody saw that start coming for LA, but this almost guaranteed. Zion's hurt again, now a left adductor strain. He'll reportedly be reevaluated in 3 weeks, having already missed 11 games this season. So he was watching the T-Wolves come to town last night.
In with the ball in his hands, races past McGowan, top of the key, in the paint, to the cup, the layup good, 44 for Edwards. Timberwolves now up by 8 in overtime.
And then they won by 7, 149-142. Edwards scored 34 of his 44 after halftime, the highlight from Alan Horton on T-Wolves radio. The Thunder's latest win, a 124-112 decision at Golden State, 38 from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And the Spurs outscored the Grizzlies 126-119, improving to 6-2 since Wemby strained his calf. Harrison Barnes, De'Aaron Fox combining for 60 in this one.
Oh, by the way, Maggie and Perloff at gmail.com is where you can send us an email if you want to get in touch. I told you Kevin from San Antonio sends us a picture of his breakfast every morning, and it expanded to other things, high school reunion. He's getting into baking. He also sent us a link, Pearl, with all this Wemby merch.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, am I supposed to wear a Wemby t-shirt or
Yes.
something?
And there's some really cool Wemby shirts out there.
Ooh, I
These
wanna see
women
it.
are smoking hot. Are you single? I was stunned. I think Charles Barkley kind of planted in my head that the women in San Antonio are like pretty average looking. And then Kevin went to his reunion and they were all,
women.
I know.
Oh, geez. Maggie, you got to stop with those women were hot there. I don't even know. Are you getting paid by those women to give them a national advertisement? What is the deal with you
Getting
and
paid by
Kevin's?
the CFP.
I don't know.
It's a conspiracy, just like the CFP getting paid by ESPN.
You know, there's something
I'm
definitely
using my
odd.
platform.
Yeah. And they were.
Because I think the women of San Antonio have been maligned by Charles Barkley.
But you make it sound like it was a SI swimsuit calendar. Like, who cares? Like,
I'm
they
just
were
saying-
fine-looking women, but it was like.
Okay, Pearl, how about this? Do you
Yeah.
know what Playboy magazine, when that used to be a thing, consistently
What's that?
ranked the ugliest city in America? Philadelphia. And if I went down there and I saw really beautiful people in Philadelphia, I'd use my platform to say, you know what, Playboy, you got it all wrong. And I feel like the women of San Antonio have been taking L's from Charles Barkley for years, and I want to right that wrong. That's where this crusade
I think you
comes
took
from.
that Chuck quote a little too seriously.
Because that's like 50.
Yeah, I mean,
from the Philadelphia 76ers.
He can't
this is
stop.
this is a meaningless and silly cause. I like that part, but to support the women of San Antonio, they'll
Yes.
be fine.
We're going to send it to Galveston with that dirty-ass water.
A little different, but
She's
yeah.
she's just distracting from the year of the drought buster fiasco.
Yeah,
Oh, because the Thunder look like they're about
it's
to
a year
steamroll
of the women in Kevin's photo looking good.
Meanwhile, the Wemby merch. That's
Yeah.
what I wanted to get on here.
That
the
you're
Wemby merch.
not going to wear when you don't go to San Antonio to pay off your bet. We're on like year 3 of waiting for this.
It's not our fault that Greg Popovich had a stroke.
That seems a very convenient out for all of you guys. There's been plenty of time before and since then.
When bust Jama? Yeah, I really, you can't get to me now, Bogues.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm going to fight that fight.
That's your
That's me.
cause.
That's my ugly ladies of San Antonio.
That's your cause of 2025. That's your drought buster?
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's jump to men's college hoops. The ACC SEC Challenge tipping off last night. It gave us Duke's 67-66 thriller over Florida at Cameron, and North Carolina and Kentucky tight at Rupp.
Dixon with 21 seconds gets a screen from Vasar. Drives left of the lane, gets to the rim, and lays it in with the left hand. Carolina now up 2, 66-64.
Derek Dixon, the tie-breaking hoop, 19 seconds left. The Tar Heels getting a 67-64 win. Top-ranked Purdue surviving a trip to Rutgers, 81-65, and fifth-ranked UConn, a 61-56 W at number 21, Kansas. So this is how the crumble cookie crumbles. BYU is keeping Kalani Sitake with a lucrative extension that may or may not be coming from the Cookie Empire after some flirting with Penn State. So the Nittany Lions still do not have a replacement for James Franklin.
Hey, can I ask you a question about that? I heard a rumor, and I could not verify this online, but I want to know if any of you guys heard it. Not just Crumble Cookie, the CEO got involved. He tweeted out, "No longer can I sit on the sidelines. I got to come in and get our guy with the cookie money." That the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints also got involved. Did you hear that?
I saw it. I don't know to what
Christ got involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the heavens.
To keep Kalani Sitake. It was kind of like a, no pun intended, a mission to keep him.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that because now you call games for Fordham, that has a religious association, right, with the Jesuits. Obviously, Notre Dame, big time association with the Catholic Church. Like, now, should all of these religious entities get involved? Have they been getting involved all this time?
Well,
and we just didn't know?
I thought, by the way, I'm a little confused. So isn't it Ryan Smith, the guy who owns the Jazz, who brought AJ DeBansa to BYU?
Correct.
But he's not the one who's doing this? It's a crumble cookie guy?
I think he's a basketball guy, Ryan Smith. We're talking about the football program.
So, okay, but Ryan Smith, so there's another billionaire who does the football program, so they have multiple billionaires doing all this?
Dude, they've got a couple, obviously.
Yes.
I mean, they're a rich school, but I didn't realize that the church may have gotten involved. I couldn't verify
The church
it.
is very tied into the businessmen there, right?
I think so.
It's not based on, what's that show that we used to watch on HBO?
The Sopranos.
No, with Bill Paxton. They had multiple wives and Ginny Goodwin. It was a great show.
Oh, what was that show called?
I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, it was all about life in Utah. And I think the church is involved in every business.
Because that's unlimited. Like, you're talking about crumble cookie money. I mean, take a back seat.
Yeah, to God money.
Are you crazy?
So how does this affect Notre Dame getting into the CFP?
I'm just saying that someone get their weight up over there in the Vatican. I mean, do you want to keep Marcus Freeman, or do you think he's going to go coach the Giants?
If the Pope had a seat on the CFP selection committee.
He's just a guy from Chicago.
Fan.
He's American now, so he's
a guy
in.
from Chicago.
Dude, he's a White Sox fan. You don't think he'd get involved with a Notre Dame situation? You better.
He maybe already is. Back channels.
I kind of question his powers if he's a White Sox fan. They're still this bad. Just saying.
Now he's got the real keys.
Oh, so this season's going to be the real tell?
Well, wait. I mean,
Mark
they're
Burley
talking
ain't walking through that door.
They're talking about
Where's
trading
Frank
Luis
Thomas?
Robert, and not now.
Where's Frank Thomas? Where's Paul Konerko, number 14?
Yeah, when they all come back in their primes, you'll know that Jesus was involved.
Yes.
Do you know? I think I'm right about this still. That the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is one of the biggest real estate holders in New York City. Did you guys know that?
Well,
I didn't know that.
They have 5 buildings right by my house, and they just sold them.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah.
Because there was one right by where I sold.
Well, I think they sold them.
Liquid enough.
That's why he's staying at BYU.
They liquefied it.
Yeah.
No, I think they sold it to Trump's son-in-law.
Oh,
I think the
Kushner.
Kushners got a hold of. They're the most incredible buildings. They used to make
gorgeous.
the books that they hand out door to door in Brooklyn for some reason.
Yeah.
And they had these 5 amazing buildings that I think they sold. But the funny thing is, it's amazing thing about BYU. All this should be said that last year they had a Jewish quarterback.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Who's, by the way, we might see in the playoff again.
Because he's a Tulane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That didn't end well. But
No.
this is a big deal that Kalani Sitake is staying because it's the dominoes kind of stop falling for a second or whatever, the musical chairs, and Penn State's really left here without a
chair.
Without a chair.
They really screwed this thing up.
There's a way they can save it, though. I have an idea for them. We'll get to that. Bogish, thank you. Sorry we derailed your update with our crumble cookie.
No, that was the point of me referencing crumble cookies.
By the way, if they want to sponsor this show, fantastic. But also, I don't think they're good.
Oh, God.
Wow.
I was just about,
So they're not going to sponsor it.
You don't like the crumble
why would you
cookie?
say that?
I mean,
But forget the
I
sponsor.
gotta
Why
keep
would
it
you
a
not
buck,
like a
guys.
crumble cookie? What is not to like?
Have you tasted them?
Yeah, I was about to say, have you guys indulged?
I've had one. My daughter had one. They're amazing.
Yeah.
It's dough.
Yes, that's a way
That's a
cookies
cookie.
are the best.
No, it's not like cooked all the way through.
Yeah, I know. That's the
That's
best
the
way to
point.
make a
Oh,
cookie.
that
That's
sounds
why
delicious.
that's
A
why
little-
they can afford to keep this guy. Because they're amazing.
They undercooked a cookie, and
There's
all of a
other-
sudden it's $1 billion.
That's like your that's like your mom's cookies because they're soft and
Well,
chewy.
she does the biscotti,
Easy.
but the key is she doesn't bake them twice.
Right.
She bakes them once, but she
there's
bakes
nothing
them
worse than
through.
overcooked cookie like Endemans,
Yes.
like are a little bit
I'll agree
raw.
with you.
Oh God, raw cookies are the best. I loved. I didn't even want the cookie. I just wanted cookie dough as a kid.
This guy knows ball.
So
Yeah.
you can do that. There's a place called Dough.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's the trend, and I think you're the first person I heard who doesn't not only dislike crumble cookie, doesn't love crumble cookie.
No.
Also, get some principles. If you don't like them, don't take their money for your show.
I vowed to the audience that I would
put your
always
huge foot down.
I would, I would always tell the truth, and I'm just not their biggest fan.
Careful when you put your foot down because you might kick the earth like Young Wei Koo.
Well,
There's a whole set of
Maggie,
I'm surprised I don't do that more.
Maggie pulls a young Wei Koo. That'd be like the Incredible Hulk smash.
There's
Creating
a
a
whole
crater in the middle of the ground.
subset of weird food takes from Maggie. What's the other thing that everyone likes?
She
that you
doesn't
don't
like ice cream.
Yes.
No, well, I
And
know.
bacon, too.
I've said
Too
this.
cold.
I've
Bacon
said
doesn't
this.
taste good.
That's
Smells
the big
You're
one.
tripping.
Wait,
No,
what does
I
it
said
say?
ice
What's
cream is my easiest thing to say no to. I never
Yeah.
said I didn't like it. It's my
You're
easiest thing to
crazy.
say no to, and I think bacon smells better than it tastes.
Oh, you're high.
If she was high,
yeah.
she'd love bacon.
I mean,
I'm not high enough. All right, wait. We got a break. 888-710-4ISN. Lots more to do, including a solution for Penn State after they get spurned again. 7P.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Maggie's got some giant feet, they're the talk of the town. When she walks the sidewalk cracks, she's bringing buildings down. She tried to buy some shoes, but they said no way. Now she's wearing boat sails just to get through the day. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on posts, creating legs for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs, hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaur battles. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaur battles. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on puddles, creating legs for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs, hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. So here's to Maggie and her feet so grand. She's the funniest girl in all the land. With her giant feet, she's never beat. Maggie's big feet make life so sweet. Oh, Maggie's big feet make life so sweet. Maggie's got some giant feet.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Santa, tell me if you're really there. Don't make me fall in love again if you won't be here next
Bought my first gifts yesterday for family members.
Oh, it's only basically Christmas now.
I know. Started to panic. It's only December 3rd. I have plenty of time, but anyway, Chris is in Birmingham, Alabama. Wants to talk about the Crimson Tide. Chris, Crimson Tide jumped Notre Dame in the latest college football rankings, but they're not exactly safe because if they lose to Georgia and have 3 losses, well, we've never seen a 3-loss team play in the postseason. What's up, Chris?
What's going on, MP? First off, I was hoping we could start the show off right with myself. Just put the Knicks on the L train, telling Nene and EJ you should know you can't win in Knicks colors. Just ask Nate Robinson when he fought.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. Wow, you're really coming out firing today, Chris.
Now you miss. I'm about to fire at you and EJ real quick because Perloff. Remind me to order you some donuts for the morning because you're the only one when it comes to college football, this doesn't make sense. Because apparently between him and EJ, EJ and Maggie, the pot served herself to a point. You think she was a Harry Potter witch for Halloween with her own cauldron. I don't take slander of my Iron Boat rivalry lightly, Maggie. When the game or the Red River rivalry is a snooze fest themselves, probably because both are at noon and only marquee games held for prime time. Are you for real viewing of the public? Cough. And you're going to bring up my future schedule, Maggie? Oh. Really? Did you look at the future, Maggie?
Listen, Chris, I get it. The SEC is going to a 9-game schedule. Thank you, sir, for calling in to hold us all accountable.
What?
I think he called me a witch.
Did you guys understand anything? His line sucks.
I know. Chris, get a better line.
The line was a little fuzzy.
I think it's his room. I think he's in like a large warehouse or something. I think it's the
I don't know. I think he's on
small
speakerphone.
padded room. I mean, come on, Chris.
Well, I mean, Maggie, when you said things that weren't nice about Alabama in the first segment, of course we expected to hear from Chris.
You know.
Not that you said things that weren't nice about Alabama, but
no, my bigger thing is that Notre Dame is facing down they're staring down their mortality right now.
Both teams should be in. Can I tell you there's one reason I would like to see Alabama not be in the playoff. I would like to see their quarterback, Ty Simpson, say, I have unfinished business. I'm coming back to Alabama. Then Fernando Mendoza goes number 1, and the New York Jets have no quarterback to draft, and EJ's running back Justin Fields. Why obviously, committee screwed Alabama. How funny would that be?
I mean, Pearl, way to punch.
Why is everybody being so personal against me? What did I do this morning?
Way to punch down. Your team is the reigning Super Bowl champs, and you're worried about EJ's Jets not getting a quarterback?
That's the Philadelphia way. That's the only way that they know, Maggie.
They haven't made the playoffs in 15 years.
It would be high comedy if there was, say, 2 quarterbacks in the draft, and the Jets just missed them out, and one of them stayed in college, too, which could happen, you know. Maybe the quarterbacks, Arch Manning and Ty Simpson, say there's unfinished business. I'm coming back.
I'll be honest. I've said this before. If the Jets don't get a quarterback, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
No, you got another first-round pick for 2027.
Who's going to play quarterback? Tyrod Taylor?
Next year doesn't matter. They're going to be bad next year anyway. So you're going to have another high pick. It's not the worst thing in the world. I've said this for weeks. If they don't get one this year, whatever.
Let's go to Jim, who's in South Carolina, our big Notre Dame fan around here. Jim, I'm shocked that you're one BYU win away from sitting out this college football playoff, dude.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this. The committee is drunk. Okay, let's just call it. And here's how it's happening. Here's how it's happening. Verichek is providing the vodka, and every time that Notre Dame, Miami, or Alabama comes up in the meetings, they all have to take a shot. And that's why we are where we are. And Notre Dame aside, the other thing, the group of 5, if any of those teams that are being mentioned, JMU, Tulane, whatever, they get into the playoffs, they are going to absolutely get run out of whatever stadium they have to go to. And I don't know why the group of 5 is even a consideration for being put in the playoffs outside of courtesy. But bottom line, the committee's drunk.
Yeah, but see, Jim, you know what's crazy about that? You're right. James Madison playing against Oregon, is probably not going to be a fair fight. Thank you for the call. The guy is drunk. But we saw blowouts in the second round with teams that are really good. Ohio State blew out Oregon. We saw all these teams lose. It doesn't have to be the group of 5 to give us a bad game.
That was, it was a blowout-ish. I felt like Ohio State hit him in the mouth and it took forever to Oregon to get their feet underneath them.
But all those games, 3 out of the 4 games were blowouts in the second round. It was only Texas and Arizona State that actually gave us a good game.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Oregon definitely kills. I want to see JMU fight. Not that they're going to win, but that'd be at least interesting.
Coming up, Mike Tomlin's future in Pittsburgh.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
I'll tell you what, people are coming out of the woodwork to dunk on Mike Tomlin. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Pearl, I've never seen it. Former players who are now putting their names on the idea that Mike Tomlin and the Steelers should head for a split. Talking about Ben Roethlisberger, we're talking about James Harrison. These guys are legends in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, which is saying something considering how many amazing players have gone through there. But when those two guys yesterday put out on social media that they think the Mike Tomlin Steelers thing has run its course, I was just kind of surprised that this was the inflection point. Now, I get it. The Bills came in, ran all over them, but to be honest, like, Buffalo winning that game is not that shocking. Obviously, it's a buildup, right, of how, mediocre the Pittsburgh Steelers have been, making the playoffs, but not able to win a playoff game.
That sucked.
So it's not just one thing, but it was something about this game has rubbed people the wrong way. I think it's maybe that the Bills ran the same play over and over again and the Steelers couldn't stop it. I don't know, but something about this game, I feel like the vitriol has never been louder against Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely we've heard behind the scenes, Andrew Filipponi, the Pittsburgh radio host, said that everybody's wanted to get rid of Tomlin for a while, right?
Well, obviously not the team.
They're sick of, the Rooneys, the fans are sick of the limbo, right? So, but this was a big loss in the sense that it kind of makes the playoffs seem like a daydream here. Now, then again, in typical Mike Tomlin fashion, he'll probably beat the Ravens this week and be back in first place in the AFC North. But I think it was, you're right, I think it was the way this game went, the way that Aaron Rodgers looked old, he's not leading that team to the playoff right now. So I think it feels dead. This season feels dead. And then what are we doing here? And I get it. He needs... What Big Ben said, fresh start, right? The Tomlin thing isn't working anymore.
So here is Roethlisberger, says he thinks it might be time to clean house in Pittsburgh.
I know it's being talked about around here a lot. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's a clean house time. Maybe it is. Maybe it's time. And I like Coach Tomlin. I have a lot of respect for Coach Tomlin. But maybe it's best for him too. Sure. Maybe a fresh start for him is what's best.
I've seen a lot of this. Again, this is Ben Roethlisberger's Football and Podcast. Manny, can I hear cut 11? A lot of people making this comparison, Pearl, that Mike Tomlin is kind of like where Andy Reid was at the end of his tenure in Philadelphia.
I think he might say it's time for a fresh start. When you've been in one place in the NFL for that long, even the greatest of, you talk about the Belichicks and the Gibbs and the Seiferts and the
Andy Reid, bro.
Andy Reid switched and went, would Andy Reid be? Do you think when he was and people when he got let go in Philadelphia, people were like, "What in the world?" What he did? He went to all the NFC Championship games, didn't win it, but holy cow! And now, do you think he, for 1 minute, regrets it, or anybody? I mean, and now the Eagles have won since he's left.
Yeah,
he's won.
I mean, I think it is a fair comparison. The only difference is that Tomlin actually did win a Super Bowl. Andy Reid kept getting close and close and could never break through. But Tomlin has actually shown that he can do it. Now, that was his second year coaching, and he's now in year 19. So it's been a minute. But they did go back to a Super Bowl. They lost to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in 2010.
Yeah, I mean, it feels to me like you're not just talking about the coaching reboot. The roster obviously needs a reboot because they have half their roster is well over 30 years old, and it's not going to be there next year anyway. So it feels like the timing would be great. You bring in a new coach, basically tear up 95% of your roster and start over. Because what are you building around? You have a couple draft picks, like you got Derek Harmon this year, who's okay, but there's Aaron Rodgers is not going to be the quarterback again.
I don't know. Earlier this season, they were talking about bringing him back. I don't know how much that's changed since they've been on a bit of a slump.
Yeah, Cameron Hayward will be gone. TJ Watt will be 33 next year. Jalen Ramsey will be gone. There's so many. You look up and down the roster.
But they have a young offensive line. Joey Porter Jr. is a young, potential star. They just signed DK Metcalf for tons of money.
Yeah,
I know you think it's easy to kind of rip the Band-Aid, but they've been sending a mixed message for a while here. This felt like a team that was going for it. You don't bring in Aaron Rodgers just to, play with your food and fart around. You bring in Aaron Rodgers because you think you can finally win a playoff game.
Right, but once you clear that TJ Watt contract, then you got nothing on the books. Like everybody's basically gone.
Well, $100 million. It's a lot.
But what, 2 years here? That's what we're talking about. And Metcalf's not that young either. He's gonna hit the dreaded 30 mark for a receiver soon enough. Basically, you're basically bottoming out. I mean, you don't have a quarterback.
So. I mean, they're 6-6. I don't think that's a bottom out. They're also facing the Ravens this weekend.
Yeah,
no, I want to talk about a game that's way more important than the Buffalo game. Now, the Buffalo game was important for wild cards purposes potentially, but these two Ravens games they have, this is the season.
No, I'm talking about next year. Coming into next year, if you're Mike Tomlin, you're like, do I want to coach this team? You're really not going to have much of a team to coach. I don't think. I mean, listen, you don't draft high enough to get any help. You're going to have one wide receiver. You don't really have an offensive coordinator. You have Arthur Smith. You don't have a running back. I don't think there's much to build on there. I think this is, as Ben said, like a complete rebuild.
Okay, well, then let's look on the flip side. We're talking about Mike Tomlin, his future. And now you got Ben Roethlisberger. We played some sound for you. We'll play some sound from James Harrison in just a moment. But here's my question for you. So let's say that they do want a clean break, right? Fresh start. Tomlin's been there for 19 seasons. Everyone could understand that. Is Tomlin going to probably get traded to a team, right?
No. You keep saying that. Why would anyone trade for Mike Tomlin?
Because he's still under contract. And the Steelers...
No,
the Steelers would be stupid not to. Just like the New Orleans Saints traded Sean Payton, even though he had been doing Fox for a year. He's still under contract. That's an asset. Absolutely
Yeah, I guess you're right. Say
him.
the Giants want Mike Tomlin.
Well, I'm just saying, so Tomlin's going to go to another place that's not going to be better than Pittsburgh because you're not firing coaches generally, where the situation is great. I don't know if he's walking into a sleeping giant like Tom Brady and Bruce Arians found in Tampa. I don't know if that's out there. Where does Tomlin want to go? And then the second part is, this is a lot of pressure, I think, for the Steelers ownership and for their brass. You have 3 head coaches in the entire history of your program. Mm-hmm. Is there that guy out there that they see is going to be the next dude to take the mantle for 20 years? I mean, that is not the norm.
Well, they pulled Mike Tomlin out of a needle out of a haystack. No one had even heard of Mike Tomlin when the day he got hired. They're like, they hired who? I mean, I don't even think Bill Cowher was that big of a hire either. So I think they have faith that we can find some rando and do this thing all over again.
All right. I don't know.
I mean, Mike Tomlin was, people forget, arguably the most surprising hire in the history of the NFL.
Sure, but you know what?
So you don't need a big
name.
name.
This one, you kind of become like everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of like everybody else right now. You haven't won a playoff game in 8 years.
Well, I guess so. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476.
I think there are a lot of teams in better shape than the Steelers. The Giants are in way better shape than the Steelers. They have Jackson. They have a quarterback. They have...
Can't stay healthy.
You could argue that, but I feel like a coach is going to look at that situation and say, hey, I'll teach him how to get rid of the ball. And I just think the Steelers are at a zero. There's no quarterback in Pittsburgh.
Okay,
so, what are you coaching?
But here's my thing about that. I think Tomlin is a great coach. Obviously, we all do. But who are the quarterbacks that Mike Tomlin's developed? He came in, had Roethlisberger already. The end of the Roethlisberger thing was like a mixed bag. Kenny Pickett was total roadkill, and then they brought in Aaron Rodgers.
Right, like Jackson Dart could be his Roethlisberger.
But Roethlisberger was already a thing.
Jackson Dart's already a thing. At least he's not going to have to develop him.
Oh, my gosh. No. You can't say that Jackson Dart's not a finished product by any stretch. And who are you bringing with you? Arthur Smith? Like, this offense is one of the reasons they want him out of town. And Matt Canada before that.
Well, I know that, but the owners don't know that.
Well, they need like a Bruce Arians. I mean, that's when this was really good, right? When Tomlin actually had an offensive coordinator that had a little vision. And so to me, like, I don't know if I have a young quarterback. I love Tomlin as like a culture guy and all of that, but I don't know if I love him to develop a quarterback. I'd rather maybe have Cliff Kingsbury, if we're being honest.
But my point was that there are much better rosters than the Steelers for Tomlin to take over and build right now. I think the Steelers are stuck in a really tough spot where they really have to rebuild. Not whether I would want Tomlin. I personally would want an offensive coach and not Mike Tomlin. But I think if he's looking around, he's looking at Tennessee, he's looking at New York. Like, these are spots where you could actually build something quickly. I don't know how Pittsburgh builds anything because they have these big contracts on these veterans, and there's just not enough talent there.
Okay, if the New York Giants had this amazing roster, why do they have 2 wins? It can't all be Brian Daboll's fault. And they don't have an amazing roster. Ask Manny. He hates how this team is constructed with Joe Shane. And then I'll ask you the other thing about Tennessee. I know they have a rookie quarterback, but, I mean, 1 win? Like, their roster stinks too. Right. So
it's capable of getting good fast because they have a young quarterback so they can build around that. They don't have anybody on the cap.
I know, but you've got to ask yourself, like, first of all, that the Giants actually do have some guys who are rather expensive. Brian Burns is expensive. Dexter Lawrence is expensive.
Well worth it. They're both amazing.
But they're also probably your best trade pieces. Not Brian
Well,
Burns,
at least you have trade pieces. What are the Steelers' trade pieces? What are they? Who is the attractive player contract-wise and age-wise for the Steelers? There's nothing there. Metcalf was a mistake.
I just think that you're looking at the Giants roster saying they're so much better than the Steelers. Well, one team has 2 wins and fired their coach, and the other team is at least at 500. I don't know.
If I ran the Steelers, I would just rip that Band-Aid. I would cut every contract and go down. What's that expression? Down to the stilts? Studs. Down to the studs. Sorry. Yeah.
But you wanted Dallas to do that.
I'd go down to the stilts.
And thankfully Dallas did
play on the stilts.
Down to the stilts, and then they're above everyone. No, you wanted Dallas to rip it down and rip it apart. And what did they do? Dallas, to their credit, doubled down, started making some trades for Quinnen Williams, for George Pickens, and now they're a maybe sneaky playoff team.
Yeah,
I don't think it's always the solution to tear it down.
But what does Pittsburgh have other than TJ Watt? Like, who is the where's Joey Porter Jr., by the way, is a human pass interference machine. But I like Joey Porter Jr. too. But really, there's like a handful of guys who are not like, ooh, that guy's getting older and expensive. Come on, look at the results, Maggie. When is this Pittsburgh team been a real threat to win the Super Bowl? If they're not ripe for a rebuild, then I don't know who is.
Let's go to JT, who's in Atlanta, wants to talk about Mike Tomlin. Good morning, JT.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, so, Perloff, You're saying something I think that speaks to the argument that I'm going to make is that you're saying, what has he got to work with, right? And I think if you're using the scientific method, you don't change everything because then you don't know what was really the issue, right? Like, I think you need to give him something to work with. And, Maggie, you're saying he's never developed anybody, but where's any of the quarterbacks that they've had gone on to success anywhere else? Nobody else has developed those quarterbacks either, so it's not a Mike Tomlin thing. I don't think that, in that aspect of whether or not he can develop a quarterback, no quarterback that's been there since Ben Roethlisberger has been worth their salt. And then to bring in an old Aaron Rodgers, Bill Belichick in 3 camcorders couldn't win with that team. I mean, this guy is old, right? And it's just not. It's the ingredients aren't there to be successful. And until you can figure that out, then you can determine whether Mike Tomlin still has it or not. But
JT, I have a question for you. I have a question for you. Do you think that Mike Tomlin, who's been with the Steelers now for 19 years, you don't think he has any say over the roster? You don't think that he signed off on a lot of these guys? You think that it's just Omar Khan is out there on an island making these moves? Mike Tomlin is responsible
I don't think
for
he
a
was
lot of this roster.
Yeah, give me Kenny Pickett. I think I could win with that guy. I don't know if that was. It doesn't seem like a move that he's saying. Yeah. I want that. Now, granted, I think not the Ben Roethlisberger, but the Aaron Rodgers thing, I'm sure he had some say in that. The whole offseason, they were flirting with each other back and forth. Yeah, you're right. So I think that there was some input there, but it's obvious Rodgers is done. Like, I mean, that's not a thing. You know what I mean? That I don't think anybody can win with him anymore. You know what I mean? And then, like you said, Metcalf, and then who else? Like, what?
You don't think Mike Tomlin wanted Patrick Queen? Like, honestly, I just think that you have to spread the blame out here for Tom. If you're just going to say, well, we're not sure, but wow, he doesn't have anyone to work with. But JT and Perloff, thank you for the call. I think that you have to
quarterback, Maggie. I mean, that's the end of the day. Like, when you don't have a quarterback, you don't really have anything in the NFL.
And I think that he was also responsible for Kenny Pickett.
So was the old GM was there for Kenny Pickett, right? Kevin Colbert, who's kind of like almost a Hall of Fame level GM. I don't know if Mike Tomlin was always in his entire stay at Pittsburgh picking the players. I mean, he came in pretty young. That was
Pickett wasn't that long ago.
That was a very
Pearl.
GM-run team for a long time.
But Pickett wasn't that. That's when the team may have had a better roster. Pickett wasn't that long
Well, I'm not
ago.
saying one way or other. I just think the bottom line is they don't have a quarterback, so there's no reason for Tomlin should want to leave. Maybe he likes Jackson Dart or Cam Ward. That makes sense. I think there are a lot of better situations. Pittsburgh's got to everybody's got to rebuild at some point. And I think the Cowboys are in an interesting spot because they're paying their quarterback $60 billion. Let's see how that all works out.
Manny, can I hear cut 7, please? So this was another clip from Ben Roethlisberger, who thinks that Tomlin and the Steelers should mutually part ways, right? Because it's just kind of run its course. And he's got a great idea for where Mike Tomlin should coach next.
Go be Penn State's head coach. You know what he would do in Penn State? He'd probably go win national championships.
Legit,
because he's a great recruiter.
That seemed absurd to me. Listen, Penn State's
I like that
a good job.
Geographically, it works out.
All right. But
Penn
why?
State, a Pittsburgh school.
We're just talking about Mike Tomlin, that how many of these NFL teams would love to have him? We just talked about, could he be Andy Reid, right, who goes to another place and wins, and both teams maybe are better off for the split or whatever. And now all of a sudden he's got to take the Penn State job, which Matt Rule wouldn't even take. Which, I mean, they can't get Kalani Sitake. He's getting, because of the crumble cookie money. And now this is where Mike Tomlin, who's going to maybe be a Hall of Fame coach, is going to Penn State.
I mean, you brought up an NFL coach. Why not him?
I brought up Brian Daboll, who's like, his stock is low. Tomlin, the stock is low. I'll give him that, but not like Daboll level.
I don't know. I like the mix, and you know how I am. I'm purely going on traffic patterns and going Pittsburgh. He lives in Pittsburgh. He could barely even have to move.
Yeah.
What is it? 3 hours?
It's a hell of a commute.
I don't really trust Perloff's geography.
No, but
of
you can spend a lot of time in both cities. I mean, you're
Which
fine.
both cities?
Where State College and Pittsburgh.
State College and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good move. Like, is he going to want to pack up and move to Nashville?
Kind of, actually.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Because Nashville is awesome.
Wow, Pittsburgh's awesome too.
Yeah, but he's been in Pittsburgh for 19 years. Pittsburgh is awesome, but he's been there, done that. This is about a new change.
There's an amazing. Any Sunny in Philadelphia fans here? I think I'm.
Yep.
There's a great scene where Charlie Day, who plays this idiot character, can't figure out that Pittsburgh and Philadelphia are in the same state, and it just blows his mind.
Well, you can't read, so.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. You guys got something in common.
He says, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia are both in Pennsylvania. Does that mean I'm in Pittsburgh right now? It is funny. If people say to me when Pittsburgh comes up, are you guys rivals, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia? Like, you guys must be big rivals. And I counter with Washington, D.C., Boston, New York are all twice as close as Pittsburgh. Yep. There's no rivalry at all between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. It's 7 hours away.
It's a huge state to drive through and boring.
They have nothing to do with each other. But I got to give you, if he wants to keep his ties to Pennsylvania, then go to Penn State. Why not? What else does Mike Tomlin have to do? Come on, this is not working in with the Steelers. You know that. They can't even stop the run, and they're supposed to be a defensive-oriented team. They're the most expensive defense in the league, and everybody runs on them like they're the Giants.
I was a little surprised that the Bills ran the same play 29 times and it worked every time.
Did you guys know that Pittsburgh is in Pennsylvania?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that show still on, by the way?
Oh, yeah. They just had season 17. It was fantastic.
It's got more seasons than ridiculousness.
I think it might be the longest. It's challenging to be the longest non-animated sitcom of all time. It's pretty cheap to make. I think that's why.
Is Grey's Anatomy not a sitcom? Probably not, right? That's a hospital procedural. I think one's still going too.
Grey's Anatomy, no, that's a sitcom. It has a laugh track and everything. What do you mean is Grey's Anatomy a sitcom? Do we own a television? You never watched Grey's Anatomy?
I've never watched an episode of Grey's Anatomy. Never seen one episode. Not 1 minute of one episode.
Not 1 minute? See, that's the thing. 'Cause I've
Not
seen
1 minute.
clips. And
no.
Wow.
And I've only watched one episode of The West Wing. I watched the first episode, and I was like, it's not for me.
Oh, my God.
I've never seen that.
These are the longest running shows on television.
It's only universally considered probably the greatest show of all time, but it's not for Maggie.
That's crazy. Two cities in one state?
No. That's not crazy.
No, not at all.
By the way, are they just sending an AI version of Caitlin Olsen to the show? Because how did she do this and that show on ABC?
High procedure. What's it called? High potential.
Yeah. I'm like, how?
She's solving crimes.
Yeah, these are long, these are not like 5 episode limited series. I mean, it's only the Philadelphia. It's like 30 episodes a season.
No, it's only 10 episodes now.
Now it's only 10.
Yeah, they put it on FXX. Which isn't even FX.
I mean, Danny DeVito, how much time does he have to film? I mean, he's got all those Jersey Mike commercials with Eli. So.
Did you see he was on the Manning cast with Eli? That was fun.
He was on when Young Wei Koo decided to stub his toe into the planet.
Danny DeVito might have the highest Q rating in America right now. That guy, and those Eli commercials, I'll admit it, they're funny. Anyone have a problem with them?
No. Why would I have a problem with Eli Manning? He saved my life.
Now you got Jackson Dart.
Ole Miss coming through. You got everyone but Lane.
Did you guys see
everybody but Lane? Yep.
Did everyone see the Eli Manning tweet yesterday?
Yeah.
That he ran over Lane. Oh, that was beautiful.
Well, Lane alleged that an Ole Miss fan tried to run him off the road as he was headed to the airport. Kind of said it offhanded. He's like, people were booing. They were giving me the finger. Someone tried to run me off the road. And Eli Manning quote tweeted it and said, "Sorry about that," or something like that. Yeah, oops. Yeah.
College football.
Yeah.
That is great.
I wouldn't want to cross the Mannings.
I wouldn't want to cross Mississippi as a state. Those folks seem a little hardcore.
Yeah, well, we were learning a lot more about them.
He's going to break down that touchdown. Can't hear. Never mind.
I think where you don't want to counter the Mannings is the comedy world. Like, Eli is just flat out a funny person. I think way funnier. Lane Kiffin doesn't look like he's cracked a smile in 15 years.
No.
I have never seen a more miserable man cash in with $84 million in my entire life. Did he look like he was at a funeral at his introductory press conference?
Yeah, he looked a little gaunt.
Yes, it's this new diet.
Ironic, because he's very funny on social media.
Yeah, that's true.
And apparently the reason why him and the guy from Florida didn't work out was because he's like kind of like a laid back jokester, and like Scott Strickland is very buttoned up, and they didn't get each other's jive.
But Lane got skinny though, so it's a whole new ball game right now. I don't know if he's funny and jocular anymore. He looks like he's got a very strict diet, intermittent fasting, only carrots yoga. And stuff. Yeah, I don't know if he's funny anymore. You lose your sense of humor when you do all that stuff.
What?
You lose your funny when you get skinny?
Yeah, have you ever seen a great skinny comedian? Yeah, of course, everyone knows that.
Chris Rock.
Once you get in shape, well, yeah, but once you get in shape, of course you lose your sense of humor.
Kevin Hart is like 7% body fat, and he was funny.
No, I know, but like your buddy who drank 12 beers a day and would eat anything and all of a sudden goes vegan. I mean, that of course he's going to lose his sense of humor.
I mean, yeah, Chris Pratt, fat Chris Pratt, definitely way funnier than.
Oh, yeah.
He was reading someone else's lines.
Yeah.
He's still, Parks and Rec, though. Nobody could read him like Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
But,
I've been watching the first season this week. That guy was on one.
Generally, good-looking people don't make great comedians because if you're good-looking, you don't need to be funny to get girls. So if you're a guy, you're not going to be funny.
Okay, but see, the thing about that, I think that's an old stigma and stereotype because that guy, Matt Rife, he's pretty controversial, but he's got this special on Netflix. I have not seen it.
Mr. Crowdwork.
But he's handsome.
He's a very good-looking dude.
Yeah. And
John
he could be
I think, is pretty good-looking.
John Mulaney is not bad looking.
Mulaney, sorry, yeah.
I know. There's some, female, like Ali Wong is not bad looking. She's hilarious.
Yeah, we've had Zhao Ying Summers in here.
Oh my God, Zhao Ying's beautiful. She's hilarious too, in not her first language.
You know who's fat, ugly, and funny?
JJ? JJ was the crybaby.
Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis is hysterical.
He's keeping it real for the
little JJ Wise. That's what we used to call him.
I would say Louis C.K. is a supermodel, and he's probably one of the 3 funniest human beings of all time.
Should meet his brother TJ. He's the man.
Do you think Drew Carey got less funny when he got skinny?
Oh, well, there you go.
Definitely.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. Has he even told a joke since he got skinny?
Well, he's doing the prices right now. He's getting his
cashed in. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could argue with me, and I'm sure there are lots of exceptions, but of course, ugly people are funnier. You have to be. What do you think I got this great sense of humor from? Because I look like Brad Pitt? If you're tan and good looking and muscular, why are you bothering telling a joke? What would be the point?
The life according to Perloff, the world. But you're not bad looking.
Thank you. But, I was this height and I weighed 110 pounds in high school with acne. Trust me, I had to come up with some jokes.
Man, have they solved acne yet? We solved, you can lose weight now with all the Ozempics and all that stuff. Yeah. Is acne gone?
Well, they have drugs that help.
Yeah, like Accutane, stuff like that. They had that when I was a kid too, but I just feel like technology, like we've solved a lot of these things.
Yeah. No.
Modern medicine.
Yeah, I think there are some. I mean, my kids are teenagers and they deal with it. Yeah, it's better than when we were kids.
It's better than when we were kids.
But it's not perfect. I don't know
Yeah.
why God made that for teenagers. Like, it's hard enough to be a teenager.
I know. It's a brutal, brutal existence. 888-710-4ISN. Makes you funny, though. 888-710-4476. Okay, lots
Gotta
more
have
to
jokes
do.
when you're a pepperoni face.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah. You got to
That's
be
sensitive.
on point.
By the way, BuzzFeed, number one hottest man in comedy, John Mulaney.
Yeah, he's...
Number 2, Nick Thune. Number 3, Donald Glover.
John Mulaney got sober and then became unfunny, but I digress.
You know, Childish Gambino is a very... Donald Glover, super handsome guy.
Definitely. But he's had a glow up, though.
He's kind of short, though.
But what's getting rich and famous if you can't have a glow up?
True.
Donald Glover's a little short. I think at that size, you still have to have jokes.
Yeah, so is Kevin Hart.
I watched him perform his music at a music festival, and he basically stripped down naked by the end. I was like, dang.
Oh, Childish Gambino show is so
Crazy.
trippy and out there and awesome.
Women were losing it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the juice.
Okay, coming up next, you're welcome to weigh in, by the way, on Mike Tomlin. Is this just a rough patch? Transition?
So anyway, Mike Tomlin.
Yeah. Speaking of people losing it, fans in Pittsburgh, about Mike Tomlin. Is this just a rough patch that they can get through, or should they be headed for a split? Also, man, I've got a solution, I think, for Penn State that's bound to work. M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break.
This is Maggie Gray with an Odyssey Sports Minute.
Stepping on puddles, creating lakes for real. Maggie's giant feet that make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs. Hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach, she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaur battles. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach, she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaur battles. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on puddles, creating lakes for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs. Hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. So here's to Maggie and her feet so grand. She's the funniest girl in all the land. With her giant feet, she's never beat. Maggie's big feet make life so sweet. Oh, Maggie's big feet make life so sweet. Maggie's got some giant feet, they're the talk of the town. When she walks the sidewalk cracks, she's bringing buildings down. She tried to buy some shoes, but they said no way. Now she's wearing boat sails just to get through the day. Maggie's just
1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. So, Andrew Bogusch and I were talking out in the hall. Maggie has the weirdest cultural blind spots. There's certain things that you're just like didn't have enough time for because you're too busy building your career.
Yeah.
That happens to a lot of people in our industry. But you have one for Grey's Anatomy.
It's so weird.
And I was going to put up the poll, who's hotter, McDreamy or McSteamy, and you couldn't even weigh in on that.
I don't know who McSteamy is.
McSteamy, I think it's McSteamy, right? I know I got to Google that.
You're good.
Yeah. And
Who's
who plays
McSteamy?
him? You recognize him.
Yeah, I think his real name is Eric Dane.
Dr. Mark Sloan. Yeah. Oh, Eric Dane. Yeah, and he did a lot of things now.
Yes.
He's a good actor. And he's apparently, according to the ladies in Grey's Anatomy, McSteamy.
Oh, yeah, no, Grey's Anatomy, total blind spot for me. I had missed The Wire. I had to catch up on that.
Have you ever heard of The Sopranos?
I did watch that
What
first
about
run.
Friends?
I don't watch Friends. I've told you guys
she's
that.
told us that.
I'm a
she's
loyal
loser.
Seinfeld.
Friends is on all the time on my television.
Don't know the one with the one and the one.
Easy.
Sorry, I just don't know it.
What are your... All right, I'm just going to go here.
What
What
do
are some
you
of your
like?
favorite shows not from a kid, but in the 2000s?
I will tell you, I think that the best show ever on television
SpongeBob SquarePants.
is very good now that I'm watching
Hell
it with my
yeah.
kid.
Hell yeah.
It's very weird and I like it. It's Mad Men. I loved Mad Men. I watched it twice. I did like Lost when I was in college. We watched that. It was very fun.
That show freaks me out.
I did watch Breaking Bad. I watched The Wire. I watched Sopranos. So I got a lot. Sex in the City. I got a lot of them.
Okay.
You know, I was around.
Yeah.
What about now?
You outside, as they say.
Yeah, what's your favorite drama on network television right now?
Well, not on network television. That's not a
You
fair
guys watch
question.
actual TV?
Right.
I was
We
gonna
watch
say
sports all the time.
Blue Bloods.
CSI Chicago. Tracker.
911.
Tracker or Tracer?
911 looks legit.
The guy from Tracker came in DP show once. Super, super nice. Justin Hartley.
I
Great
just
guy.
know these things so because Jim Nance is reading the
all the time.
reading the copy, and I'm like, please, Tony, just lay out.
Maggie likes that show that's on the resorts in HBO.
I do White Lotus. I like.
Yeah,
that
you
too.
like the HBO shows.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
getting rid of HBO. I'm done with it. I've decided it's expensive. And I'm trying to cut down streaming.
Yeah, I got
And
rid
they
of
got
Apple.
They ended Sex in the City, which is the only reason my wife watched it.
She
so
watched
now-
that new Sex and the City? I heard that was trash.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
Yeah.
I don't want it to ruin
Yeah.
my thoughts on Sex in the City.
But now
Transformative show.
Yeah, and actually, Netflix is getting really expensive too. All the streamers are really, really expensive. I think that's
'Cause they
not
got
talked
you.
about enough. Yeah, they've got us, But then again, they have a lot of pressure to come up with new good shows all the time. And I don't know if they're delivering right now.
My problem is the crackdown they're having on sharing logins, because that's what's got me.
Yes.
Because we've had family accounts for multiple things. So I have Peacock. My parents have HBO Max. My brother does Paramount. But now they're cracking down on all these things. So I had to then fork over money to get the bundle for Disney Plus, Hulu, and HBO Max thing. And then I still had to buy ESPN Unlimited because that doesn't count for the bundle. It's just a joke.
That is a travesty. Because I have Disney, I have that whole thing you just talked about, but I still have to buy ESPN Plus and ESPN Plus, I guess. But it's not cheap. It's over $100 a year.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And when all the TV is on, all the games are on Netflix and stuff, then we'll all have to be on there. I think, and then cable's out, right? Like I can't afford to have cable and have to go to Amazon for all my games. So it's going to be kind of weird.
So this is the hack if you like just NFL. Yeah. I think this is the hack to do, and you don't want to have to do Prime and Peacock and ESPN Plus or whatever. If you do NFL Plus, not to show for the league, but it's $99 a year. And you get every game. Now, the thing is you get it on your phone, and then you can broadcast it to your TV. So you need like a smart TV.
You get every nationally No, you don't get every game. It's not Sunday Ticket.
You're right. It's not Sunday Ticket, but I get all the national standalone games.
Right. It's not national standalone. If it's on your TV, if it's on your cable TV, you get it. So say the Giants, you're in New York, play, then it's on your phone. But then there's 12 games that aren't on your phone.
Correct. It's not. No. That's not. I get Red Zone though.
Yeah.
You do get Red Zone, so I don't get to watch every single game every down. But if you want to just keep your eye on the national stuff, you do have Red Zone.
Yeah, NFL Plus. I've been doing it for a couple of years. Yeah, that's fantastic. A pretty good deal.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
If you don't want to buy Peacock and all these other things, which is getting absurd. Let's get to Bogus, who's got the latest. What's up,
guys? Hello again. Your headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Not Florida's governor, not conference commissioners or the head coach could make this a good morning for EJ and all other Hurricane fans. Despite all their politicking, Miami might now be stuck outside the college football playoff. They remain 12th in last night's reveal, 2 spots behind Notre Dame. As you may have heard, the Canes won that matchup earlier this season. Apparently, the ACC network is replaying that game all week so committee members can refresh their memories if they want about Miami beating Notre Dame.
Do we think the committee members are watching the football the first time around, let alone a replay of a game from September?
Well, Hunter Yurachek made sure that he did the TikTok of everything that happened in the Alabama game when he answered Reese's question this week to let them know that we're watching the game. He's like, Alabama got to a 17-point lead, and the run game was good. And then Auburn, with a good defense, came back. I'm like, what are you doing? We know the play-by-play of the game. Why did you pick them over Notre Dame this week? Tell us why.
They don't have a good answer, EJ.
I can't do this. This is breaking
you.
I was thinking about it today. I yelled out the biggest bleep in my neighborhood. I don't normally crash out in public like that, but when I was walking my dog Lita and I got the alert on my phone or my watch that Miami was still 12, I actually combusted. I couldn't believe that we were still here. And then I learned that I got to watch this stupid show next week.
Yeah,
because we're not done apparently.
Stay tuned. Dun, dun, dun.
This is terrible.
Sunday, baby. At least it's on the weekends.
Yeah, but
right in the middle of the NFL game.
Yeah, it was right before the NFL games, right? Does anybody even watch the last one? Like, don't you have to get in your lineups and do important NFL things on Sunday? I feel like they should make that, but they can't because of the conference title games. That show gets completely lost. It's too early.
I just feel like what needs to be explained is why is in every other situation head-to-head matter except for this one. Because Texas Tech's ahead of BYU, Oklahoma's ahead of Alabama. They've honored head-to-head in every other situation except for this one.
Now, I guess
Texas is ahead of Vandy now.
In their defense, he did give, for the first time, somewhat of an explanation, whether you believe it or not, whether it's rational or not is a whole other thing. But he said it's not just Notre Dame against Miami. It's that 4-team cluster.
Yeah, it's
that
BYU, Alabama, Notre Dame, Miami, and maybe Vandy was in there too.
So they're looking at all of them, and then it spits out the final ranking of the 4 or 5 teams. It's not just looking at Notre Dame against Miami. Now, again, I don't know that that's logical, but that's the first time I can remember him actually giving us something that at least you could kind of sink your teeth into to understand why they are getting to where they're getting.
But it feels like they're just choosing to do that, though. Because then why are they not including Alabama in the bracket with Georgia? Like why? Like it seems like at certain points they're saying, okay, we're gonna make these teams so far away that we don't have to include head-to-head. But when they're close, like Alabama and Oklahoma, well, now we will. Like it seems like they're just making their own rules.
Have you seen? There's a theory out there that the committee actually wants to leave both Notre Dame and Miami out because they don't want to be accused of being biased against either one.
I think they would love that.
But that's not better for the TV show. Anyway, let's
it's
get
not even
to
better for college football.
You can call in at 888-710-4ISN. What else you got, Bill?
The coaching news continues. Kalani Sitake is staying at BYU with a new deal after being linked to Penn State, and new Auburn head coach Alex Golesh is keeping defensive coordinator DJ Durkin. College hoops tried to grab our attention last night. 3 ranked on ranked affairs, including number 4 Duke hosting number 15 Florida. Manny's good buddy Boogie Flan gave the Gators the lead with a 3 in the last minute. Then Isaiah Stewart hit a triple for the Blue Devils. Then one last desperation play for Florida.
He's got it now. Waiting. Lobs it. Deflected by Brown. It's over. Malik made the play. And Duke gets it done.
That's David Shoemate on the Blue Devils
what you want.
Radio Network. Malik Brown deflecting the inbounds pass. Time runs out. Duke wins 67-66 after leading by as many as 15. Cam Boozer scored 29. 5th-ranked UConn, a 61-56 win at number 21 Kansas, 17 points for Solo Ball. And number 16 North Carolina got a 67-64 win at number 18 Kentucky. The LA Clippers are sending Chris Paul home from their road trip in Atlanta. Some kind of divorce is coming. All of this going down overnight with CP3 sending out a social media post and then team president Lawrence Frank issuing a statement which in part said this is not them blaming CP3 for their 5-16 starts. On the court last night, we hate when this happens.
Celtics don't have a timeout. Derek White zips the inbound to Simons. Simons lobs it ahead to Jaylen Brown, and he will dunk.
Right in front of Spike Lee.
42 points. Bridges half-court 3 falls short, but the Celtics do not. Yet another signature win.
Sean Grandy, Cedric Maxwell, Celtics Radio, Jaylen Brown, a season-high 42 and a 123-117 home win over the Knicks, who had won 4 in a row. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 38 in the Thunder's 124-112 win at the Warriors. And the Sixers down the Wizards, 121-102. Tyrese Maxey scored 35, giving him 20 straight with at least 20 points.
Win a big rivalry game like that? Let's go.
Those floundering Steelers have claimed Adam Thielen off waivers, solving all of their problems. They released veteran corner Darius Slay, and they signed Asante Samuel Jr. to their active roster.
I'm sure that'll thrill Aaron Rodgers.
And as Manny likes to say, Stanley Cup back on.
Savannah Jet carries it in. Leaves it for Panarin. Down the middle. Panarin stick handling. Shooting. Pad save. Rebound. Score! Rangers win in overtime.
That's Alex Faust on Rangers Radio. Vladislav Gavrikov scoring in overtime for a 3-2 win over the Dallas Stars, who had won 4 in a row. The Rangers now have won 4 of 5, and that is, I believe, home win number 3 on a season that is 2 months old.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Catch the fever.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love that home ice advantage.
Yeah, hockey was played at the Garden. It was cold in the building.
Yeah. Rangers number 8 in the CFP rankings this week.
Ahead of Miami.
Everybody's ahead of Miami.
Bogues, thanks so much. All right, coming up, see you guys on the phones. You want to talk about Mike Tomlin. You want to talk about the college football playoff. We want to do that too. 888-710-4ISN. And coming up, did one college football program make a huge mistake? Do that next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Then make a mighty
Believe Bilatti's got something to say. Infinity's mice. He's feeling the dismay. No NBA on NBC. What a shame. Just JJ Redick's wine ain't the same. Peter Bellotti is getting upset. Maggie, Perloff, can you hear us plea? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Set his spirit free, he misses more. Co-stars and the crew, those were the days. Pete cries out boo, boo. Bring it back, oh can't you see? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Let it be. Pete's mad, he's feeling sad. Bring it back, oh make it right. Believe Belotti's got something to say. Infinity's mice, he's feeling the dismay. No NBA on NBC, what a shame. Just JJ Redick's wine ain't the same.
Manny and EJ, they're diehard Knicks fans, living in the Big Apple. They're part of the grand plan, but they just witnessed the crushing defeat. 76ers taking the victory, man. That's hard to beat. Sitting in the studio talking about the game. Maggie and Perloff, it ain't all the same. Perloff's a Philly fan. It's hard to stand when your team's on top and your heart's in your hand. Man, Manny and EJ, they're lost and confused. Knicks played hard, but it wasn't what they used to. Every missed shot, every turn, oh, they saw leaving.
This is Andrew Perloff with an Odyssey Sports Minute. This is Andrew Perloff with a Sports Minute.
Manny and EJ, they're diehard Knicks fans, living in the Big Apple. They're part of the grand plan, but they just witnessed the crushing defeat. 76ers taking the victory, man. That's hard to beat. Sitting in the studio talking about the game. Maggie and Perloff, it ain't all the same. Perloff's a Philly fan. It's hard to stand when your team's on top and your heart's in your hand. Man, Manny and EJ, they're lost and confused. Knicks played hard, but it wasn't what they used to. Every missed shot, every turn, oh, they saw leaving. Them shocked, they can't believe what they're in for. Man.
Peter Bellotti, he made a prediction, said that he gonna win. Celtics got no conviction, but now he's hiding, running away, won't own up to his words, can't face the dismay.
One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
Welcome back.
Had a very shiny
Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, getting in the holiday spirit around here. Mike Tomlin, though, the gift under the tree for Tomlin may be a new job. Maybe he gets traded to a different NFL team. Quinn is in Austin, Texas, wants to talk about it. Good morning, Quinn.
Hey, guys. Good to chat with you. A longtime Steeler fan. I used to run around the neighborhood in my Me Joe green pajamas, so I was quite a sight to behold, I'm sure. It's hard to win in the NFL, and it's even harder to make playoffs. I think kind of their middling performance in recent years may be a testament to his capabilities, because he's kind of done it with a hodgepodge. I think maybe it's really highlights the same mechanisms that allow for parity in the league. Poor bad teams get rewarded with draft picks and enable them to move to the top. If you're kind of middle of the pack, there isn't a mechanism to help you cross that bridge. So I think his good coaching may be acting to his detriment, because he's keeping them afloat despite the personnel choice.
Quinn, can I ask you a question? Would you be shocked, and Maggie too, if the Steelers beat the Ravens, who are obviously a mess in their own right? Say TJ Watt gets a strip sack, Lamar can't run anymore for some reason, maybe it's the injury. What if the Steelers win and go to 7-6 and get a commanding lead in the AFC North, and this entire narrative we've had all week changes? Would that be crazy?
Well, I think that would be crazy. And, it's like, I think Aaron Rodgers might go do a ayahuasca and watch the movie Cocoon and, pull something out of thin air. That wouldn't surprise me. That would just be the atypical is often typical. But, maybe he'll do 20 and leave. He probably should have just ridden the bus out of town when they won and exited gracefully. Nobody wants to leave in the middle of a mediocre run. However, that's how, it's very rare to go out on top. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Elway, a few have done it, but maybe a segue to a greener pasture is in order, but I don't think it's because of his coaching ability. I think it's just difficult to get out of that consistent middle-of-the-pack performance based on the metrics and the mechanisms that are in place for the draft order.
Yeah, no, Quinn, it's a fair point, right? Because, and I think that one of the stark examples of that is, like, we're watching on Monday Night Football. How have the Patriots reloaded this fast? It's like, well, they kind of had to bottom out. They needed a couple 4-win seasons. You get Drake May, you get this easy schedule because you were a last-place team in the division, and that kind of helps the turnaround. You could say ditto, for the Bengals and guys, teams that really need quarterbacks. But then on the flip side, you also do have teams that do stay consistent and they find a way, And the thing
usually a quarterback, though.
But it's usually. But here's the thing: like maybe the Steelers, just picked the wrong guy. Apparently, when it comes to the veterans who were free agents who would have come there.
Well, who could they have picked otherwise?
Well, why could they have not been potentially in the mix for a Matthew Stafford when he was leaving Detroit? Why are they not in the mix? Joe Flacco's the only team in the AFC North that he hasn't played for.
Well, because their offensive coaches stink.
Right. So I'm just saying
Which is Tomlin's fault.
There's more than just the station that they're in is what I'm saying that's kept them mediocre, right? I think you could blame it on the system and that the fact that they have never in a position to draft a quarterback high, and you could say it's all because of parity in the league and this sort of being in limbo, or you could also put some responsibility on the Steelers and say, they are a victim maybe of their own middling success. And also, they've made some terrible choices at quarterback when it comes to free agents. I mean, they went with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. You went bargain shopping there. Like that, what did you think? That they were going to win the Super Bowl with that combo?
That was an openly limbo year. They said we're going to kind of...
Okay, and you had a whole year then to plan for the next year, and your best thing was Aaron Rodgers or maybe Mason Rudolph? Where's the foresight? That's not the system's problem. That's their problem.
No, I think generally, though, if you look at the NFL, the only way to have a sustained winning team over, say, a decade is to have a great quarterback. And most often, to get a great quarterback, you have to be at the top of the draft. So I don't see, there are very, very few exceptions.
Let's go to Daniel, who's in San Diego, wants to talk to Perloff about, I'm not really sure here, Daniel. What's on your mind?
Oh, I know exactly what Daniel's talking about.
All right, I'm glad Pearl knows what I'm talking about. So I think he's inclined to believe that the speed gun is fixed, and I was of that mind too. When I saw all these guys, I was like, well, only Nolan Ryan and only not too long ago, dudes that were throwing 95 or on SportsCenter at night. But then I looked at the dudes that were kicking 60-yard field goals, and that's commonplace, and that proves the maximizing of athletic potential with all the sports science and everything. So I think we can discount the idea that the speed gun is fixed, or either that or the footballs are filled with helium. So I don't know.
So
Pearl, what
Daniel,
do you
this
think?
is so we're talking about our most unpopular takes before. Mine is that bacon smells better than it tastes. One of Perloff's is actually not that Tom Brady is a system quarterback. It's that you think all the speed guns at the combine for pitchers in baseball, that they're all
really.
juiced.
No, I think the way they have changed the way they measure the pitching. The fact that the fastest recorded Nolan Ryan pitch is 100.5 or something, and then you got a Aroldis Chapman at 107. There's just, to me, having watched Nolan Ryan, there's just no way that he is 6 miles slower than the current fastest pitchers. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I wondered if they just sort of tweak the gun that measures it. Or just measure.
But it's
I
not
read
just
that they
one
measure,
gun that clocks Aroldis Chapman.
Well, I think they measure the ball at a different spot in the pitch, is what I've read too. So it definitely does seem like now all of a sudden there's 250 pitchers in MLB are faster than Nolan Ryan. It seems weird.
But to Daniel's point, think how far we've come from Nolan Ryan's
Yeah,
day
no, he's
as far
got a
as
good point with the
sports
kick.
science and maximizing your potential. Aroldis Chapman, I think it's 105, but he could be just legitimately throwing 105.
Yeah, I know. I just don't think that that much fast. That's significantly faster than Nolan Ryan. And all the guys are. It's not just Chapman. Everybody throws 100 easily.
Coming up, what we're mad about with the college football playoff rankings, your phone calls on Mike Tomlin. Also, it's Wednesday, which means the great debate. Let's do it.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Of all the crazy things that this college football playoff committee has ever done, I never thought they would put Notre Dame in this vulnerable of a position. Welcome to the show, Maggie. Great, Andrew Perloff. Latest college football rankings came out. Everyone's upset. But the one thing, Pearl, that I'm surprised is that Alabama jumped Notre Dame in the latest rankings, which leaves Notre Dame now at 10. Now, 10 is really like near the chopping block here because there's 12 teams, obviously, and 2 of those could go to conference champions that are slotted in because they get automatic bids. Obviously, Notre Dame, not in a conference, needs to get a at-large bid all the time. So the fact that they put Notre Dame right there on the bubble, so to speak, means that if BYU, Brigham Young, if they somehow beat Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game, Notre Dame could be out completely. I'm stunned.
I don't think it's happening. I think Notre Dame is fine. I'm not going to waste my energy on this. I'm mad for EJ's Miami Hurricanes. I'm mad for the Texas Longhorns. I'm mad for the Vanderbilt Commodores. Like, there are teams that are great and that deserve to continue to play. I don't think you have to worry about Notre Dame because BYU is not beating Texas Tech. Texas Tech, I am now convinced they are a semi-quasi NFL team. That defensive line is like, whoa, that's better than my NFL team's defensive line. I think they're going to be good, and they're 13-point favorites. BYU is going to lose, and it's going to be Notre Dame. I'm telling you right now, I don't know why they didn't just announce it's going to be Notre Dame over Miami. That would be the most awkward thing. It's going to be Notre Dame.
Well, do they need to announce that it's Notre Dame over Miami? They've consistently put Notre Dame ahead of Miami through all of their rankings. Now, this was a little bit of bad timing for Miami because the college football playoff rankings don't start until like midway through the year, which is right exactly when Miami lost 2 of 3 and went through their little midseason swoon.
Great point.
Now, meanwhile, for Miami, they have gotten themselves out of it. So to be fair to them, they have looked really good over the last 4 or 5 weeks or so. But they started from a lower spot, and we know how hard it can be to leapfrog. So that's a little bit like Vanderbilt, for example. They just beat Tennessee in their rivalry game, and they didn't move at all. It's just so bananas. So the one part to me is Notre Dame being this close to the chopping block. I'm just kind of stunned because we always think Notre Dame gets this red carpet and always gets the benefit of the doubt, which they are against Miami. They lost that head-to-head, and they continue to get ranked above them.
But there's one bigger brand than Notre Dame out there.
Alabama. That's the other one. So now Alabama is in this interesting spot where Bama is going to play Georgia in the SEC championship game. But if they lose to Georgia, they will be a 3-loss team. Now, should that impact them? They already beat Georgia once on the road. You could argue that's maybe the best win anyone's had in college football this season, individual win. But at the flip side, Alabama did lose that Florida State game. Like, that did happen. It was week 1, but they got rocked. And, I think all these games are supposed to matter, but I guess that's not true. Alabama obviously did also lose against Oklahoma, but they really controlled that game, but they lost in the last final seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it feels hard for me to look at that 12-team playoff and say Alabama shouldn't be in there. They're a good team, obviously. I don't think they're necessarily a national title threat, but they seem to belong in there more than Oklahoma to me, even though Oklahoma beat them. So it's a very, very tricky because of all the head-to-head. I think they need to just really, really address these strength of schedule differences. The fact that, for example, Ohio State and Indiana really played nobody. Oregon played nobody.
Well, Indiana beat Oregon on the road. That's a big win.
Well, I know, but those two
Ohio
teams.
State beat Texas.
Yeah, but we don't have a third team. Like, how do we know Indiana? How do we know it's a big win? We haven't seen Oregon beat anybody.
Penn State didn't live up to their end of the bargain there. I guess Oregon beat Penn State. That was a good win at the time. Penn State was supposed to be that fourth team in the Big Ten that was supposed to be like a little more top heavy with that conference.
It wasn't. I mean, so yeah, it's hard to tell. It's just you watch college football this season. Like, why are all these SEC teams who are ranked playing each other every week, and why does basically all the Big Ten teams play Maryland every week? Is Maryland just rotating among all the top teams or whoever? Maryland's actually okay, but the Big Ten was such a joke that it was impossible to tell who's who. I mean, is this a good Oregon team, by the way? Is this team?
I don't know.
Could last year's Oregon team have whooped this year's Oregon team? Possibly.
Well, probably. But, that Oregon team was basically ranked number one the entire season. But my whole thing about Oregon is I think they're benefiting a little bit from brand at this point because they are a one-loss team. I understand that. So in the loss column, that could be what the committee's looking at.
Of course.
But BYU is also a one-loss team.
But they're the Big 12, not the Big 10.
Yeah, but Texas Tech is also in the Big 12, and they're ranked in the top 4. It's like, I obviously they don't think the Big 12 is nothing. And so to me, like, what are the really great wins that Oregon's had? They haven't beaten anyone now who's in this college football playoff field at all. Now, they beat USC. Okay, good. You beat Washington. You beat Iowa on the road. We were in a dogfight there. What are the other really good wins here from Oregon? Anyway, there's a lot to nitpick. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Meanwhile, can I update you on some coaching news?
Sure.
Penn State, SOL. So the latest overture was to Kalani Sitake, who is the BYU head coach, but look out, the BYU donors came through in a big way, including, and this is kind of silly, but the CEO of Crumble Cookie stepped up, Pearl, along with maybe, rumor has it, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that the church may have gotten involved. Now, that's unverified, but that is the rumor out there. So Sitake is going to stay with BYU, and Penn State gets rebuffed once again. I mean, it seems at this point like everyone's using Penn State to get contract extensions, which is not a bad thought. But, do you think there's any part of Penn State that regrets firing James Franklin, considering now it looks like it's so hard for them to fill this role?
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you put it that way, yes. But in the long run, no. I don't think that I don't think they wanted James Franklin there anymore. I as a quasi Penn State fan, I certainly didn't want James Franklin there anymore. I think he's a good coach. But we were talking earlier about how Mike Tomlin has sort of played out the string in Pittsburgh. That was going nowhere with James Franklin. If he can't win with that team, then what are we doing here? I mean, he's had a lot of good players come through. And if they're not going to win the title, I just don't think that he was going to take them over the hump.
Can I just also point you to something else that I learned from our friends at the Cover 3 podcast who cover college football? I don't follow the recruiting rankings so closely, but according to them, Penn State, with today being National Signing Day, by the way, so happy National Signing Day to one and all, Penn State has the lowest rated recruiting class in the entire Big Ten.
Don't they only have 5 players?
I mean, think about that.
That's because they haven't recruited anybody. They don't have anybody in there.
They don't have a coach, right? And they don't have anyone there. Although they did fire their coach midseason, which in theory gave you a jump on this. Like LSU fired Byron Kelly, they got a jump on Lane Kiffin. Florida fired Billy Napier. They were trying to get a jump on Lane Kiffin. Turns out they land with John Sumrall. But they had this stuff ready to go. Penn State now, I mean, Matt Rule said no. Eli Drinkwitz said no. Kurt Signetti said no. Now Kalani Sitake says no. Bill Bryan even, I don't know who said no to who on that one. He even got an extension at Boston College, the former Penn State coach. I think now if Penn State wants to save face here, I think they got to get someone from the NFL and make it seem like, oh, wait, this was the plan all along. We always wanted Brian Daboll, or we always wanted Cliff Kingsbury, or something like that, to say, hey, this looked like the plan. Because right now they look like they're being used.
Oh, definitely. What's the latest on that interim guy that had some movement?
Terry Smith?
Yeah, why didn't they just hire him? I didn't even really follow through on that.
I don't know. I mean, interim coaches, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Obviously, Ole Miss is rolling with their defensive coordinator, who they made the full-time coach, not even interim.
Well, right.
But still.
The only thing I will say is this doesn't feel as dire as it would have 5 years ago because of the transfer portal. So you can stink to high heaven next year and still be good in 3 years. Because it's not about your high school recruiting class anymore, really at all. In fact, I wonder, do you really want these high school players in there? You're putting in a lot of money and development into guys who might leave.
I kind of look at it a little like how the NFL looks at the draft and free agency, right? Yeah. You build your team through the draft, but you complement the team with free agency. That's kind of in like a overly simplified version, I think, of what college football is now.
Right, but if you look at the top 12 teams in the playoff, how many of them were recruited quarterbacks and how many are transferred?
But that's just one spot. So you can keep that quarterback spot rotating. Yeah, it is the key spot, but you need, there's 900 more guys on a football team.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. But then again, you can also make a lot of inroads there, especially, for example, you could get a star left tackle if you're willing to pay up this year. Jordan Seaton will be in the transfer portal. So that you can rebuild really, really fast. So I don't, honestly, who knows? They could trip into the best possible situation here. Maybe not next year because you're right. They already lost their recruiting class. But I'm not out on Penn State. This could all work out well. I've seen coaching hires, especially in the NFL, where people did not get their guy and they land on some other guy. And that other guy turned out to be great. The Eagles did not want Doug Peterson to be their coach. And he won the first Super Bowl in franchise history. They were turned down by multiple people.
Yeah, I get it. I don't know. I feel like with the college football, the coach is just the whole program, In the NFL, quarterback's the program.
Now I think it's a GM coach combo.
Possibly. All right, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. It is Wednesday, which means it is time for the Great Debate.
The Great Debate Series.
All right, Pearl.
All right.
This one inspired by our producer, EJ, and his allegiance to the Miami Hurricanes. Today's great debate, what is the greatest college football injustice of all time?
Okay. I'll start, and I admit this is kind of weak and a little personal, but in the mid-'90s, Andrew Perloff was a massive Penn State fan. I know you guys don't buy my Penn State fandom, and the reason was they had a dream team in Happy Valley. Listen to this skill position. Kerry Collins at quarterback, Kajana Carter at running back, Kyle Brady at tight end, Bobby Ingram at one receiver, and they had another receiver who was good too. Sorry, I don't have that in the story I'm looking at. They were undefeated. They did not get to play the eventual champion Nebraska in the title game because it was 2 years before the BCS. So as the Big Ten winner, they were contractually obligated to go play Oregon in the Rose Bowl. And then Nebraska had to play Miami. And reading behind the scenes, the only reason that the committee, or the AP actually at that time, ranked Nebraska higher because Tom Osborne was wrapping up his career and they were worried that he would end without a title, and he was a very, very popular man. So they said, we know Penn State's a better team, but we want to hook up Tom Osborne. So therefore, an undefeated Penn State Nittany Lion team did not win the national championship. If that happened today, can you imagine the incredible controversy and blowout to have an all-star team, Penn State, to be left aside for a Nebraska team who barely beat Miami in the title game, was not nearly as good. That, to me, is my greatest controversy, for anybody who remembers that.
Do you remember at all 25 years ago of you guys thinking, boy, I wish there was a playoff of sorts? Was that ever in your mind at all at the end of the year?
Absolutely. Actually, I just was discussing that today with some of my former teammates. It was actually a perfect year. It was a perfect setup for a BCS scenario, which was pre-playoff. The two best teams in the country, only two undefeated major teams in the country were us and Nebraska, so it would have set up perfectly for a BCS scenario. But even beyond that, I mean, it would have been an awesome year for a playoff, a 4-team, or maybe even more.
By the way, the BCS in large part came out because of this year. They were so upset that Penn State didn't get a shot. It made sense. Like, trust me, they've been evolving the system. You think it's bad now? Man, it used to be just awful. There were so many good teams who didn't get a shot.
All right. That's a good one. We're talking about what is the greatest college football injustice. That's the great debate for today. But, Pearl, you think this stuff is back in the 90s. I mean, I'll take you to something way more recent. And my biggest college football injustice of all time, you only have to go back to the 2023-2024 season when Florida State runs the table. They go 13-0, and they got left out for an Alabama team.
TCU and Baylor in 2014 were heartbroken, devastated, and I'm sure there is a lot of anger in Tallahassee as a result of this. Just a terribly unfortunate set of circumstances. They left Mike Norvell, who has done a fabulous job at Florida State, put the Seminoles in position, and now...
I don't know if Penn State. I don't think Florida State's even gotten over this yet. I mean, the program outside of that win over Alabama at the beginning of this season is basically nosedive since then. And I think it's just devastating. That was still the 4-team playoff. Now, Jordan Travis, the quarterback, got hurt. He broke his leg in a game against North Alabama, a game that the Seminoles won 58-13. His backup quarterback only came in to beat Florida on the road in the Swamp and then beat Louisville. And obviously they lost to Georgia and got smoked in the Orange Bowl because the team was just so devastated and basically no one even suited up for the game. So they finished the season 13-1, but they were 13-0. Just still to put Alabama in there, and I thought it was probably because Nick Saban. It ends up being the last game that he ever coaches is that loss, close loss. So to me, this is the greatest college football injustice. And again, I think Florida State, a once proud program, is still feeling the effects of that.
It's only been 2 years, right?
I know.
But DJU the next year, that didn't quite work out.
Yeah, the transfer portal doesn't always do what it's supposed to do. All right, EJ, the greatest college football injustice is what?
Miami's been getting screwed by the powers that be at college football for a very long time. And I could run to more playoff national championship nonsense like the 2000 BCS when Miami beat Florida State, but somehow Florida State got in that championship game. I'm actually going to go away from, dealings with committees and BCS and computers. Get away from that. Let's go to the actual field and the original crooks that usually steal stuff from players and coaches on the field. I'm going to the referees. Let's go back to 2003, the Fiesta Bowl. Miami's playing in a national championship game against Ohio State, and the impossible happened.
The ball goes into the end zone, and it is incomplete. Intended for Gamble. Now there is a penalty flag thrown. Hold on. Hold the phone. Everybody comes running down on the field. You got to get off because there's a penalty flag thrown, and I think it's against Miami.
And if it's thrown in the end zone, the ball will be placed on the 1-yard line. First and goal.
Refs suck. That's right. Refs do suck. And this is probably the villain origin story for one E.J. Stewart. This is Miami getting called for a phantom pass interference call against Ohio State on a 4th and 3 in overtime. Had the call not been made 30 seconds after the play happened, the flag came in out of nowhere. Miami would have won its second straight national championship, would have been back-to-back undefeated seasons, and would have probably encapsulated maybe the greatest college football dynasty of all time. Instead, the play resumed. Ohio State scored a touchdown. They went on to win in overtime. But I look back at that and a lot of Miami's sorrows since that game, and I don't know if Miami's quite gotten over still that pass interference from 2003. So that is my pick for the greatest college football injustice, something that happened actually on the field.
But was that Miami team really? Did they have any talent?
Just all future Hall of Famers on that one. Let's go to Manny. The greatest college football injustice is what?
I'll go back to a long, long time ago. It's 1998. I was just a year old, toddling around. When the Kansas State Wildcats finished the regular season undefeated 11-0, they were ranked second in the country, heading into the Big 12 championship game against Texas A&M. They lost to Texas A&M in double overtime, and they lost their chance at a bid in the national championship game, in the BCS national championship game. After the Big 12 title game, Kansas State did not receive a spot, and that led to the Kansas State rule, in which if you are a champion of a non-champion of a conference team, you end up getting the bid. If a rule comes out after you become, jobbed like that, come on.
The old guard's kind of laughing today and saying, I told you so. Yep. Peter said all along we wouldn't have 3 unbeaten.
Tennessee, of course, and Florida State headed for the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Kansas State, interestingly, does not move one bit in the BCS standings. They were
Justice for Bill Snyder. I got 98 K-State Wildcats.
All right, folks, take us home. What's the biggest college football injustice of all time?
Well, before Miami could run and complain this season, UCF walked back in 2017. They were 12-0 after beating Memphis in the AAC finale, but did not get an invite to the 4-team college football playoff that winter. Little-known schools like Clemson, Oklahoma, Georgia, and Alabama got in instead. The Knights overcame their grief. They beat Auburn in the Peach Bowl to finish the year at 13-0. Now, they did not need to declare themselves national champions, hang a banner. I think there was a victory parade as well that winter, but they probably deserved a better fate than being left out of a 4-team playoff.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a Scott Frost team, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And Mackenzie Milton was the quarterback.
He was great. Okay, let's hear from you. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. The greatest college football injustice. And we're doing this one preemptively for EJ because Miami is not going to be making it into the college football playoff. All right, coming up next, we also have some bad news for Deion Sanders. Do that next.
I have good news for you, Maggie. It's holiday time. That means all kinds of sports are going on, and the best way to enjoy them, definitely Prize Picks. So right now on Prize Picks, you can get a $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. It's so simple to use. You pick 2 to 6 players, pick more or less on their stat projections, and watch your lineups light up like the holidays. And right now, you get early payouts too. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes.
I love that feature. I don't think I'm going to need it tonight, though, because I feel really good about my picks. I'm going to fade Pascal Siakam, 22.5 points. They're playing the Nuggets. I'm going to go less than, and then take me to college basketball, Ryan Conwell, Louisville, playing Arkansas on the road. 19.5. They're going to need a lot from Conwell, so give me more than with that combination. And that's my Wednesday night, and I'm feeling great about it. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code MNP. You get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code MNP on Prize Picks. You get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. So win or lose, you'll get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P. You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie at Perloff Show. All right, we've got a lot of topics on the table. If you want to express your outrage at the latest college football playoff committee ranking, please join the crowd. Has anyone ever been like, I'm happy with this? But give us a call, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. I'm the only one here who's mad about Texas. This is ridiculous. That team is so good right now, the way they're playing. I think they could definitely go on a run, but they will not have the chance, much like Vanderbilt, too, who I love, and Miami probably, who also could probably go on a run. They have a bunch of pros. You know how I judge teams, Maggie, and it's totally unfair, is how much NFL talent do they have. And this top 12, that is not how this top 12 is unfolding, although there is a lot of NFL talent up there. But if Jeremiah Love if Notre Dame gets screwed and he's not in there, then I'm not even watching.
So here's the one place that I'll agree with you, because I've not been a huge Texas supporter throughout the season, although I was impressed, obviously, with their win against A&M. But here's my thing. If the first game of the season is not going to count as far as Miami and Notre Dame's head-to-head results are concerned, where Miami beat Notre Dame, then why are we putting so much stock into Ohio State beating Texas in that first game? It's still the same thing. Or Alabama losing to Florida State in that first game. That's the one place I'll give it to you, right? If you're not going to use it as a data point, or it's only one data point for Miami, and it's used to kind of screw them over, or it does, the head-to-head results are not being weighted nearly enough in most people's opinion, then why are we holding on to a close loss for Texas at Ohio State or Alabama's loss at Florida State? Alabama's loss at Florida State's definitely worse because they got really blown out. Like, not blown out, but they got really soundly beaten that game. But that's where I'll follow you with Texas.
Not only that, Texas,
that first loss should not mean a
Texas,
lot.
who is just putting together a brand new roster because their entire team was in the NFL, took Ohio State to the last drive, had the ball in their hands in Ohio State. That loss is as impressive as anything that's happened in this season. I mean, who else is going to Ohio State and getting within a score? And honestly, they were just figuring out who they were as a team. So the committee is completely ignoring every rationale they've ever talked about.
Yeah, the only problem I have with the Texas supporters is that you act like the loss at Florida didn't happen.
Well, it definitely happened, but that team is that's no joke, man. They almost took out Georgia. Like that, when DJ Lagway was healthy, that team could beat a lot of teams. I mean, really healthy.
Well, okay, but you lost that game on the road. That's not a good loss, in my opinion. Ohio State, that's a good loss, if you want to call it that. It's not a good loss. And then you got Oklahoma with John Mateer off the thumb surgery, so that's an impressive-looking win. At 23-6 was the final score. But I don't know. And then obviously you lost to Georgia.
So okay,
I'm
let me
not
ask you this though: if Texas had
supporter.
2 losses, would you have put them in there?
I didn't think Texas looked great a lot of the season. This is where you and I differ on this. I did not think that they looked awesome. Now I'll give them credit for this. The win against Vanderbilt, that was actually a much bigger deficit until Vandy kind of scored a bit at the end to make that more respectable.
So if Texas had 2 losses, would you have put them in? You could be on the committee with that answer. I asked you a question. You went a totally different direction.
Yeah.
You could actually, Maggie would be great in that little spot.
I think Florida, that was a bad loss, but they do have great wins over Texas A&M. They do have a win against Vanderbilt, and they do have the win against Oklahoma. I just think there's mitigating circumstances. But if we're using the eye test, which they seem to be using for teams like Notre Dame, well, then I don't think the eye test for Texas means that they're like this amazing team. I think Miami would beat Texas. I think Miami passes the eye test more than Texas.
Miami?
Yeah.
Who have Miami beaten except Notre Dame? Because Notre Dame's never ready for the beginning of the season. What game has Miami showed
Notre
you?
Dame beat Texas A&M last year at the beginning of the season. That's not true.
Anyway, like what is Miami beat Pitt? I mean, Texas would blow the doors off
And by
Pitt
the
right
way,
now.
Pitt was ranked. They blow the doors off of Pitt. That didn't mean didn't do anything.
Yeah, Pitt was not good this year. I know they got ranked because they beat the even worse ACC teams. But generally, Texas has figured out a lot of things. They fixed their offensive line. They have Colin Simmons running around like crazy. They have pros everywhere. Yeah, they're not a consistent team right now. But if they play their game on a neutral field, then I think they're very, very talented.
Yeah, but there's a lot of ifs and buts in there. And by the way, they lost to Georgia badly, whereas Alabama went to Georgia and won. So
if they had 2 losses, you would. So you're saying, well they're 10-2. Are you putting them in?
No, not
okay.
Because I'm not taking Alabama out for them.
How about Oklahoma?
Oklahoma's a different spot.
And by the way, John Mateer hasn't been that great even since that game.
They beat Oklahoma, so I'd have to put them in over Oklahoma because I do value head-to-head. Joe's in San Francisco has a thought because we were talking about how do you try to get around paying exorbitant amounts for every streaming service to watch sports. What's up, Joe? Joe, you there? No. Got to put Joe on hold. Let's go to Bogish. We know he's ready to roll. What's up, Bogish?
Am I? Chris Paul was supposed to spend his final season with his beloved Clippers, but the 40-year-old struggled, fell out of the rotation, got back in when Bradley Beal was lost for the season, but is now being sent home ahead of a divorce. CP3 posting on social media around 2:30 Eastern this morning while on a road trip in Atlanta that his time with the team was over. Team president Lawrence Frank saying in a statement they'll work with Paul on his next move, adding that this is not about blaming him for their 5-16 start.
It's so funny, the idea of sending him home. Like he's got to walk into his door all sad, like a house.
Well, that's what I think needs to be explained here, right? It's one thing to go, all right, we're 5-16, we're falling apart, everything stinks. Like we're switching into tank mode. We're going to let Chris go find a team, a contender to play for, and maybe he can win on his way out. But making him check out of the hotel in the morning on a road trip is so unceremonious and so abrupt.
Yeah.
It can't be a good gesture.
It's just so funny to me when someone says to an adult, all right, it's time for you to go home. It's like it's Chris Paul, he can go wherever he wants. He can fly to Paris right now. He can go to the Bahamas. No one's telling you have to literally drive to 123 Maple Lane,
Right, but you got to get out of your Clipper hotel room right now. That's the weird thing.
And they're in Atlanta, so it's on the East time zone. So, hey, Chris, it's 3 a.m, but
cross-country
pack your
flight?
bags.
Right.
Do you think they kicked him out of the hotel? That's insane.
I think they did. This is messed up. I know the Clippers don't have a great history, obviously, but
and a great present. They don't have a great current.
They don't have a great anything.
Yeah.
But this is obviously one of the greatest players of all time, maybe the greatest Clipper of all time. And this is how he gets unceremoniously shown the door on a 3 a.m. tweet from Chris Haynes saying he's out of here. This has been a really, even for the Clippers, an embarrassing year for them between the Kawhi stuff, between Pablo Torre, and now Chris Paul.
Pablo's so on this team's ass. It is crazy.
And Chris Paul just wanted a farewell tour. That's all he wanted. To me, honestly, this is the year where he should stay on the team. Nothing's happening.
1,160 toilets.
It's 15 spots on a roster. Like, he can have one.
Make
Let
him an
just sit
assistant
on the
coach.
bench.
How about the fact that maybe their head coach was like at one of these poker games that was rigged?
Oh, yeah. We still got to wait for that to come down, maybe. I mean, this has been a nightmare. I didn't think that we'd be going back to anything resembling Donald Sterling, but this is resembling Donald Sterling, what I've seen from the Clippers this year. This is ridiculous.
Sorry, did anyone mention that that the Thunder have their pick?
Possible? Oh, yeah, there's that too.
Yes.
There's that too.
And if you had your TV on last night, this is going to be an all-time draft. So that is amazing that the Clippers are going to miss on probably a superstar too. To add insult to
if
injury.
Oklahoma City gets Cam Boozer, I feel like this is not the system working.
Yeah. Well, me and EJ are into the other guy, to Caleb Wilson, North Carolina. If they added him, oh my God, then there's something wrong. But remember they put in laws because was that about the Cavs in the 80s where you couldn't trade first round pick?
The Stepien rule. I thought that was about Isaiah.
No,
it's about the Cavs.
That was the Cavs.
Right.
They gave my Sixers a couple first-round picks.
Yeah,
they were
traded
great
first-round
back
pick
then.
every year.
The Clippers have become the 1980s Cavs. Like, you're going to have put in new rules to
Tough
protect
spot.
you. But I have to be honest, like, I do want to go to a game because I'm very curious about this bathroom situation.
Yes.
Toilets.
I'm curious about the wall.
Well, clearly it's not working because they won
Wait.
5 games this year.
You're not going to use the urinal? You're going to go against the wall? What?
I want to see the wall.
It's not the link.
No, it's not the link, but apparently they smoke weed up there, which is crazy.
Well, that's like the old Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there. My dad was there in the 80s. I wasn't there. I want to see
The 80s?
I want to see what this was like.
Early 2000s, go to the Garden and during a prize fight, you get a contact high.
Fair. But, I mean, I was too
That was
young.
before the
I was,
renovation.
11?
That was when I was allowed in the building, but I wasn't
yes.
partaking in that stuff. I was just annoyed by it.
Sure.
Back to you, Bugs.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be smoking up with a couple of dudes watching a Miguel Cotto fight. Not my scene.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
That sounded oddly specific.
It actually happened.
I got to be honest.
It was Miguel Cotto versus Antonio Bar.
In November of 99. I wasn't there.
I ran into my neighbor on the platform in the subway on the way home.
I feel like the Garden has gotten crazy. Like, get to a Knicks game in the year 2000, you had to be basically a hedge fund manager.
No, this is back in the early 2010s.
Yeah,
this was not for prize fights.
Okay, the fighting must be there because the Knicks games became out of control after that Larry Johnson team. Like, you could not get into
Do
the
not
Garden.
ask Maggie where she was when Felix Trinidad beat Oscar De La Hoya.
I want to hear. There's some kids. There's some people in New York that grew up in New York. You used to be able to walk onto the court when Bernard King was here. It was such a joke back in the day.
Oh, my dad tells stories about he used to get tickets from like the upper deck and would sneak all the way down.
You can still sneak down a little bit. The funny thing is, I feel like there was a time when getting onto the field was like not a big deal. I know Syracuse stormed the court yesterday. They beat Tennessee or whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the Hank Aaron home run famously where 2 people snuck onto the field.
That was not good, though. They did not want those people out there.
No kidding. But it used to happen constantly.
You win the pennant, everyone runs on the field. I mean, the Mets in '86, every time they won, they clinched the division and the World Series at home, and people were all over the field ripping up grass and taking dirt and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, you guys... Does anyone remember Morgana, the kissing bandit? She used to get on the field all the time.
Well, I don't remember, but I remember hearing about her.
Reggie Jackson, just absolutely crushing a random person.
Oh my gosh, he's doing the forearm shiver.
Love that. I still think about that.
That was a big setup for a clip. Thank you, Bad Bunny.
When the Lakers the Celtics beat the Lakers the first time in the 80s, like the shot misses and the amount of people around Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when that buzzer horn goes off, it is like a mob. I'm like, I don't know how he got out of the Boston Garden alive.
Guys, they didn't used to celebrate on the court. They would always celebrate in the locker room, I think, because people were just on the court.
It's crazy.
Better times.
You think so?
I don't care.
A long time ago, the Thunder were mentioned.
SGA working the angle right from 30. Crossing over twice, steps back, fires. Angle right 3 is on the way. Cha-ching, a Thunder money ball. Shea says, might be closing time, baby.
Matt
I got
Pinto.
an idea for CP3. Why don't you go to the Thunder, man?
He wouldn't
They're
play.
good.
You can get your ring.
They're all right.
That was Matt Pinto on Thunder Radio. SGA with 38 and a 124-112 win at the Warriors. It's now 13 straight victories for OKC. They are 21-1 overall.
What a perfect spot for the former Thunder legend.
By the way, I think it'd be the new Spurs where they're going to be great and they're not necessarily going to be
sexy.
Or attention getting. Is it possible? Because, I mean, honestly, they beat the Warriors last night. It was only interesting because it was the Warriors.
There's not a lot of drama.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
way
you
they
need-
play is not dynamic like the Warriors were in 2015.
Yeah,
And there's no LeBron flying up and down the court.
You can be good and boring. That happens.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean you're any less of a champ. It's just we don't talk about you as much.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's going to happen here, which is okay. But
what if they're like historically good? Like the Spurs never won 73 games or anything like that.
yeah, but the Warriors won that 73 games and didn't even win the title.
Right, but we cared a lot about it when it was
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
I don't think we
I'm just
care as
curious.
much
I don't
about the
know.
regular season anymore because, like, the
That's
regular
such a good
season
point.
record, because I
Yeah.
just think the load management issue is still very prevalent.
Yeah. But what if the other thing, too, is last year's playoff team did not exactly storm through the playoffs. Like, they were a lot of hard-fought things. What if they win 16 straight playoff games? I don't know. They have a high bar to pass here for us to pay attention to them because we never talk about the Thunder.
I'm guessing Dan Hurley hated it, but fifth-ranked UConn won at the Fog last night.
Ball out front to Caravan. Caravan skips it over to Demery in front of the UConn bench. Sideline. Get it down low. Caravan ducks inside. Lays it in. Caravan delivers a deuce. And UConn leads by 5, 59-54.
Mike Crispino on UConn Radio. The Huskies 61, number 21 Kansas 56. Third win over a ranked team this season for those Huskies. Top-ranked Purdue got an 81-65 win at Rutgers. Number 4 Duke survived a thriller with number 15 Florida 67-66. And number 7 Tennessee did take a 62-60 tumble at Syracuse last night. Before any conference championships or playoff games, college football's early signing period opened today. And Vanderbilt making a little history, getting 5-star QB Jared Curtis to flip from Georgia. Curtis is now by far the best recruit in Commodore history. The NFL set its schedule for Saturday the 20th yesterday. We'll get Eagles Commanders, 5 p.m. Eastern, then Packers Bears at 8:20. And the Tampa Bay Lightning 7-game win streak ended last night, a 2-1 loss at the Islanders. Back to you guys.
Folks, thank you so much. This was interesting. It got a lot of attention that this quarterback flipped from Georgia to Vanderbilt, Pearl, like the Diego Pavia effect.
Yeah.
But then I was looking at it a little more closely, like he's from Nashville.
Yeah.
He plays at a place called Nashville, Tennessee Christian School.
Right.
And how about this for a good week for this young man? They just won the state title on Thursday night. So I guess they played on Thanksgiving. And he won the state title and then flips and now is going to be the hometown hero going to Vanderbilt. So it's a little, I think, like the Bryce Underwood thing, where Bryce Underwood is going to go to LSU, but he's from Ann Arbor or Detroit. And so he decided just to stay home.
Yeah, but Bryce Underwood went to Michigan. He didn't go to Vanderbilt. That's why this is much more surprising because the actual school.
Sure, but it's like the
Yeah.
hometown thing. It's not like he's from California
Yeah.
and he just decided, you know what, forget Georgia. I'm going to go to Nashville.
Well, wait until another university gives him a bag and he goes and transfers and, gets the NIL deal
But
somewhere
Diego
else.
Pavia never transferred.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
Jets for he was 3 teams, I think.
Yeah.
New Mexico
Do you think
State,
that Bryce
right?
Underwood's going to transfer? He got what, $8 million or something to go to Michigan?
Yeah, I think Maggie might be right. Like Bryce Underwood feels like Dylan Raiola hasn't even transferred yet, though he might this year.
The word is he might, though.
Yeah, because his brother decommitted.
Yeah.
But generally, I think there's a chance if you really fall in love with the school and the local, that makes a difference. Yeah, I think Bryce Underwood stays. I think this guy has a great chance of being there.
888-710-4ISN. Okay, coming back, we have an update for you on Deion Sanders, so we'll get to that. And the Lane Kiffin circus, I can't even believe there's more to this story. How could there possibly be more? But there's more. And it got even more absurd. So we have to tackle that, and we will, gladly. It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
What about Shallow?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
So this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over.
Manny discovers the Beatles.
Yeah, this Ringo Starr guy could really sing.
Let's get to Daily Dion.
Daily.
Do you believe that?
Dion.
You believe that?
All right, Pearl. Don't know if you saw the latest. Colorado's in a little bit of trouble.
Nah.
Okay, Pearl's not biting on the story, but let me tell you the
No,
particulars.
I love the story. I don't believe Colorado, but go ahead.
Okay, so according to Colorado, it's had a pretty bad year this year, considering Dion had some pretty big quarterback recruits. But first year without Travis Hunter, first year without Shedeur Sanders, and it was basically a flop. Turns out Colorado's $27 million in debt, according to them. Not just because of spending on the roster, Pearl, but also because Dion's hauling in $10 million a year.
Right.
So what don't you buy about
So,
this?
okay, so here's the report from, I think it's Sports Business Journal. They took in $136.7 million. They spent $163.7 million. Now, 60 of that was football. That means there's $100 million. And it's a big operation, University of Colorado. There's money flowing around everywhere. Like, what is that 100? Like, I look at that and be like, what's the other $100 million? Like, where did it go? Which administrators are pocketing this money? Feels like this is a gigantic scam.
Wow.
I mean, I don't even feel. No, it's obviously a gigantic scam. They made $136 million. That's not enough to run. And the biggest expense is football. It's 60.4. What's the other $70 million for? For the Colorado gymnastics team? Like, what's going on here?
I should say they're projecting they will have a $27 million deficit. Projecting. They hasn't all come together yet.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's costs all over this place. Like, they're obviously putting a lot on the books for the athletic department. It just feels like, wait, you bring in $136 million? That's not enough to run an athletic department?
Apparently not.
The problem,
find yourself in the hole.
Well, yeah, I mean, then they blame the players. Yeah, okay. Yeah, right.
Well, they're giving the players the $20.5 million, right? So they've got because you're in a Power 4 conference, you're going to need to spend that money to keep up your roster.
$20.5 million, right?
Yeah, and then Deion's got his $10 million.
That's 30.
And that's what I got.
$163 million.
Where's the money, Colorado? Where's the money?
I mean, listen, colleges are a scam right now. Everybody knows that. Like the expense of colleges, like. I don't even think this is a one side of the aisle take. Like, everybody's kind of down on college right now. And then you're seeing, if you're watching Congress right now, everyone's like, what the heck is this industry? This is an utter joke. There was a congressman from Texas the other day who just went off on the Lane Kiffin thing in front of Congress. And they're about to vote on the SCORE Act today, which is legislation to fix the sport. And the costs are out of control. And Michigan State, on top of this report, is building $1 billion facility. Like, what? Why? Why are you spending $1 billion on a facility when you can't even win anything? I think to blame the players is so classic college football administrator to me. It's just like the same scam they've been working for, 150 years now. I don't know. That's just my general take without studying it too much. But there is a lot of money that is not being accounted for here.
So the school said it's not going to cut any sports nor cut any resources for the student athletes. It's just going to cut expenses. They also stressed that tuition money and state funds will not be used to address the deficit. There are people who are skeptical about this budget and the fact that they're, heading for a $27 million deficit, saying that all this money is fungible, basically. So why would you potentially have to have this deficit? Meanwhile, the athletic director's leaving. And I guess maybe here's the bigger question. Has this been successful for Deion? They won 3 games this year. Now, I know last year was successful, right? And you took over a 1-win team and you got better over 2 years. But this year has been a major step backwards.
Successful for who? Like the program
Deion,
as a whole?
For Deion, and I guess if you want to say the program, but
is he leaving Colorado in a better place than when he eventually leaves? I guess that's the question, really.
Well, if he leaves after this year, they've got 3 wins, and when he took it over, they had 1 win. Now, they had a little bump there where obviously things were fun, and all the celebrities were showing up, The Rock, Lil Wayne, and you also were 1 game away from playing in the Big 12 championship, so that was definitely the high point.
Yeah,
but now we're back to a low point.
You have to remember they were such an embarrassment before Deion got there that I think he is leaving in a slightly better place. At least he showed you can build something in Colorado. Now, without getting into the weeds, I think he's leaving in a better place. Now, I don't think Deion's going to be long for this job without his son playing, right? Like, I get the sense it's coming to an end soon. So, is he successful? It depends where your bar was. If you thought he was going to win a national title, obviously not. But I think it's been a good experience. I think 1 or 2 exciting years at Colorado was worth it.
So, not for me to count someone else's money, and I know Deion's gone through all of his health concerns, but he is making $10 million a year. Are you walking away from that?
Yeah, it's a great question.
The NFL is, I don't think, going to come calling. I think that potentially passed. He also said he only would want to coach his son, and I don't think the Browns and Shador, nothing about that is on solid ground. So I don't think Deion's getting that job.
No, that $10 million, that's a good reason to come back.
Right? I mean, even if, we saw a little, like, Deion's got that. I know he's obviously a very wealthy person already, but do you turn your nose up at $10 million?
I wouldn't. He's 58 and has had health problems. I think the health problems were in my mind. It does seem like those weigh in. Because it's not just one thing, too. It's multiple different things that keep on piling up on him. Obviously, what was the toe
Well, he's had a few toes amputated.
Yeah, amputated. And I remember he used to come on DP show every year, and he would, before he'd sit down, he'd be like, yeah, I had this physical problem. Not like nothing with the heart or anything. His legs from all those years of baseball and football had just given out on him. So it is tough.
But, he says that he doesn't recruit out of high schools. He doesn't, it's not like he's crisscrossing the country. I'm not saying that he doesn't work hard. I'm just saying that's not the MO. He said that. It's as his words. He's like, I can't walk into a high school because it's going to make everyone else. What was it? That everyone else is going to be jealous or that he's going to make enemies? I'm like, I don't know. Nick Saban used to walk into high schools. It seemed like it hurt him too much.
Dia does have all those ads. I bet you he makes a couple mil a year doing that. Maybe he could be okay without the money.
Possible. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Do you consider Deion's run at Colorado, which is probably not over, but has it been a success or a flop? Coming up next, how this Lane Kiffin Ole Miss LSU story has gotten even more absurd. I don't know, but it has.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Kind of thought the Lane Kiffin story was going to die down for a minute, but no. We actually had not reached the peak absurdity of this entire thing. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Well, now we have, Pearl. So, Lane Kiffin is now with LSU. We all know that. Keys to the kingdom, right? He's got the money. He's got the money for NIL or for his roster. He's got LSU paying any potential bonuses if his Ole Miss players win the national title. LSU owes Lane Kiffin $1 million. He's got the private jet. He's got the club membership. He's got all the trappings that come along with one of these big-time college programs. Okay, but he could not coach his own team, his old team, Ole Miss, because the conflict of interest. Right? Ole Miss, and rightfully so, did not want Lane Kiffin, who's currently the head coach of one of their rivals, in the building coaching their team. I totally get where Ole Miss was coming from. But somehow we found out yesterday they're okay with Charlie Weiss Jr., the offensive coordinator, formerly of Ole Miss, now of LSU, getting paid $2 million a year to coach at LSU. He's now returning to Ole Miss to call plays during the college football playoff run, however long it goes for the Rebs. How does that make any sense?
You know, it's funny. I know what you're saying logically, but this didn't strike me as that weird. Like, it struck me like if I'm Ole Miss, like you kind of won't even want Lane there. I mean, if you can't get Lane there, this I think you can get away with politically. Why not? You're in the playoff. I mean, you almost want to pull all the stops, right?
Listen, I get this is actually the first time someone has maybe even thought about the student athletes. Maybe someone has actually thought about the, I don't know, players on the football team who actually have to go out and play these games. Yeah, it's better for the offense. You run the same system. You got the same plays, same guy in your ear. That all makes sense. I just am wondering, like, this is peak absurdity to me. Like, no how, no way, Lane Kiffin can't do this. And I get it. But somehow Charlie Weiss can do it? There was no one else on the staff who would even understand the playbook enough to step into this role to be able to call the plays? Like, do they not think Charlie Weiss is not going to be potentially telling guys, hey, come to LSU?
I mean, listen, if those guys don't know what's awaiting them in Baton Rouge by now, then I think there's something wrong with them. I don't think that recruiting thing is that important anymore because it's already happening. There's no giant loss. If I'm Ole Miss, I don't think it's about protecting the play. It's not about students. It's about Ole Miss has a chance to win the title. You might as well take a shot. I don't think politically this is so damaging to bring him in. Like, who really cares? He's the OC. He's not the coach.
But it's like he already has a new job. And he's all right. He's the OC, not the coach.
But
he's still an appendage of the university, like a gigantic one.
So do you not want John Summerall to coach this weekend?
But the Tulane and Florida are not recruiting against each other.
Right, but the OC, my counter argument to that is the OC and the head coach are not the same thing. Just because an assistant, I just don't think an assistant. Lane wasn't even calling plays. I feel like, in fact, Charlie Weiss Jr. is actually the bigger asset here. It's just odd to me that Lane, it was such a nuclear thing. He could not be on the sidelines once he decides to get on that private jet to Baton Rouge. You know who was on the private jet with him? Charlie Weiss Jr. But now he gets to take the PJ, back to Oxford?
and do a week of practice and get his old office back and all the awkward things that would have happened just because Charlie Weiss Jr. happens to be one rung lower on the chain of command, that all of a sudden now it's so wildly different. I don't see it that way. And I see this as just a continuation of the circus. You know, if you want to cut ties with Lane Kiffin, you cut ties with everyone who left with Lane Kiffin too. Charlie Weiss Jr. already chose LSU over you. He should have to live with that decision also. And again, the only silver lining here is it's better for the actual players.
But no. Why do you just keep saying the players? Isn't it better for every single person who roots for Ole Miss?
Well, the players specifically, and the players on offense specifically, because they get to keep some kind of semblance of normalcy because Charlie Weiss Jr. has been calling the plays all season long.
Let me ask you this. If you were the AD of Ole Miss, you would have said no. So you definitely would have said no to Charlie Weiss, because I would have said yes.
No, here's the thing. Did you see that at the airport when all the people lined up to give Lane Kiffin the double bird?
Yep.
And they were screaming the F word at him. And what did they do when Charlie Weiss Jr. also got on the plane behind him? Flipped him the bird.
Right.
Middle fingers. Dude left you. And it was such a, for the fans of Ole Miss, it was so stunning and they were so jilted by Lane Kiffin leaving, yet Charlie Weiss left with him, but now he can come back and what? He gets a pat on the back?
Well, I'm curious,
I don't get it.
If you poll those fans and say, Ole Miss is about to be in the playoff, do you want Charlie Weiss calling plays? So you think they would say no? Because if I'm a fan, I would say, heck yeah, I got to win a title here.
I think a lot of them would say no. Don't let the door hit you. Because this is the thing, and Lane Kiffin kept saying this. We're talking about the latest aspects of the Lane Kiffin drama. He kept saying the national media understands this more than the local media, right? Or the national media thinks I should be able to coach. But for people who live in Mississippi, they have to live here, and they're very ticked off about this. I think if you polled Ole Miss fans, they would say, Charlie Weiss Jr., turn around, get back on the jet. We don't want you. We don't need you. Maybe you need him, but you don't want him. Because if you're going to say goodbye to Lane and double bird and flip him off on the way out, then why wouldn't you have that same energy for Charlie Weiss Jr.? He also left you.
Because he can help you win. He didn't. By the way, Charlie Weiss wasn't going to leave if Lane Kiffin didn't leave. So that's all on Lane. It wasn't Charlie Weiss's decision to go to LSU.
He's an adult, Pearl. You're making him sound like a child. He can do whatever he wants to do.
If Lane Kiffin took the Ole Miss money, unless he got a head coaching offer, would Charlie Weiss be in Ole Miss next year?
No, he'd probably be a coaching candidate somewhere else, and he might get a head coaching job.
Might be too late. I think he probably would have still been in Ole Miss.
But you're acting like he doesn't have a choice in this whole thing.
He didn't. None of them actually technically had a choice. He said, get on that plane or you're going to get fired,
Yeah, no, because no one ever would have hired Charlie Weiss Jr. again.
Well, but you're going to get technically fired from your job, though. See, they had to get on that plane. I don't believe what Marty and Lane talked about. Anyway, let me ask you this question.
I love it when it's like adults don't have a choice.
Does Charlie Weiss give Ole Miss a better chance of winning in the playoff? Yes or no?
Did Lane Kiffin give them a better chance? Pearl, same thing. And they told Lane Kiffin to get out. You could say the same thing. Lane Kiffin would give them a better shot, and they told Lane, don't let the door hit you or God split you.
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
would they do the same thing for Charlie Weiss
Jr.? Because nobody cares about Charlie Weiss Jr. It's not no one was saying, God, I hope that we keep Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. It was just about Lane. The whole thing was about Lane's decision and his ego. I would definitely take him back because he gives you a much better chance, especially a play caller. They're so specific and they're so oriented around the game. If I'm in that Ole Miss fan, I would vote yes. Because what's the big deal? At the end of the day, it's not going to hurt your program. He's not going to steal any more players. Those players are already stolen.
Well, then why not just have Lane around?
I would have thought
the
about
whole thing.
I probably would have thought about it, but if you could get a guy who's been calling plays, you don't really need Lane around. Lane's already done his work. I think that this is a smart middle road, and you kind of have to. You're in the playoff, Maggie. You don't get this opportunity all the time.
That's why people are mad at Lane Kiffin, because he's in the playoff, and he's the one who decided to leave and botch the opportunity. And everyone wanted to blame the calendar and this, that, and the other thing. Well, he didn't have to take it.
Right,
he didn't have to take it.
But he's gone. That's a sunk cost.
Well, okay. Well, but Charlie Weiss Jr. was also gone. That was also a sunk cost. And now, for some reason, he's back.
Not for some reason. I mean, this is a very specific reason.
I don't know. Ole Miss fans or fans of football, does this seem weird to you? This seemed like the peak absurd of it. Like, it had already been such a circus for weeks about will he, won't he, who's he going to pick. By the way, so again, you can weigh in at 888-710-4ISN. You know how when Lane got introduced to the media, to LSU, and he said he didn't know what was in his contract? All he wanted his agent to tell him was what was the NIL package in each of the schools. And he said LSU blew him out of the water. He goes, of all the 4 schools.
Right.
And we couldn't figure out who was that 4th school. Because we know Ole Miss was one, Florida was one, LSU was one. And
I assumed it was Penn State, but is there a rumor on what it is?
Was it Alabama? There's a rumor out there that Lane Kiffin was not just dragging his feet to coach the Egg Bowl. It was also to drag his feet to see whether Alabama won the Iron Bowl. And if Penn State had gone full on after Kalen DeBoer, that Lane actually wanted the Alabama job. Have you not heard this rumor out there?
Yeah,
this is a Todd McShay production. No, this is a Todd McShay rumor.
But did they get an offer? He said 4 offers. Did Penn State make an offer? I'm sorry, did Alabama make an offer to him?
I don't think it would have made an offer, but he was saying what the NIL package was, right? Like what could they put together for roster?
Oh, no, he said the 4 offers I got were all the same.
Yes. He said the 4, yes, I guess he did. He said the money was similar. I don't know if he necessarily used the word offer, but might be right about that. But is it possible that, Nick Saban was involved and that this actually was more about Alabama?
No, I don't buy that because Saban orchestrated the LSU thing. That's why that feels kind of hard. Because Saban has been all about getting him to LSU.
Maybe Saban's working both angles here. Maybe he's...
I have a sense that you're right. That it does make some sense. But I think that for some reason, Saban wouldn't play Alabama and LSU off each other. Like he had Lane targeted to go to LSU, and he's the godfather of the situation. And he figured it all out.
Wouldn't have Saban have more pull at Alabama than LSU?
Actually, I don't know. I mean, I know he has a 2-week standing meeting with the AD, and he's best friends with AD at LSU. I think so, but maybe Alabama did a tiny break. Because is Saban around the program like Coach K is around Duke?
Remember, there was a story last year that Saban was out on the recruiting trail for Alabama, not LSU.
I'm still holding out the hope that Lane makes Nick the defensive coordinator.
Why would Nick take that demotion?
I think it'd be super fun. Like, because Nick, at the end of the day, is not a TV person. He's a football coach, and he loves teaching technique to DBs and stuff. Get him out there on the field would be so fun. I'm also, by the way, so curious about this LSU, that they could shell out more money than these other schools. Who are they going to buy on January 2nd? I feel like they're going to put together a dream team for Lane. At least like that's the hype that they're building up here.
Again, this is what we talked about yesterday, the expectations for Lane Kiffin. And I think just what you said, that's how the fan base feels times 100, which is LSU has all this money now, and they're expecting big splashes all over the place.
Well, are they getting? I forget expectations. Are they going to get these guys? Are they going to get DJ Lagway and Lenora Sellers? Is that going to be the quarterback there? That'd be unbelievable.
Yeah, we got to wait until that first week of January for the portal to open. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Today is Wednesday, which means it is the Great Debate. EJ came up with this one. Not a shock. Big Miami Hurricanes fan. The question is, what is the greatest college football injustice of all time? Want a quick go around the horn? Pearl, what'd you have?
I did. Penn State not getting a chance to win the title in 1994, being undefeated and number 2 to Nebraska.
I went with 2023 season. Florida State runs the table 13-0, gets left out of the college football playoff for Alabama. EJ.
I went with 2002 Miami losing the national championship game on a phantom pass interference call in the 03 Fiesta Bowl.
Manny.
I went with the 1998 Kansas State team who lost in the Big 12 title game despite an undefeated season and finished third. Didn't get a chance to play in the national championship game, instead played in the Alamo Bowl and lost.
And Bogish went with UCF, University of Central Florida. The first undefeated season was in 2017, but never got a chance to get into the college football playoff. Mike is in Syracuse. Has another one for us. Mike, what's the greatest college football injustice of all time?
Well, I like to play a little game. It's called Blind Resume.
Okay.
So if you were a quarterback who threw 3 touchdowns and 13 interceptions for a 2-8 football team, and in your other hand, you had a running back who led the league in rushing, average, scored the most touchdowns, and was a unanimous All-American, which one do you think should get the Heisman Trophy.
Well, let me ask you a question, though. What are the nicknames of both players? Because that factors in.
Nicknames?
Yes.
You're going with nicknames? You're making me sound like Iverson.
What is if you call the Golden Boy, you kind of get some Heisman votes.
Practice?
I looked at the stat. I know. By the way, Mike, go ahead and say, because I looked at these stats when I saw your on the call streamer. Explain to people what this is.
So the 1956 Heisman Trophy was granted to Golden Boy Paul Hornung in complete and total injustice to Jim Brown of Syracuse University.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, Mike, racism was obviously playing a huge, huge factor in that. So if you do want to go to injustices, I'm sure there's more that we could go to than what the stuff we were talking about. See, it seems kind of silly and pales in comparison. But
Jim
yes,
Brown
obviously.
was not the runner-up. He was fifth.
He was fifth. I mean,
but the guys
give it
ahead
to
of him
Tommy McDonald. At least he deserved it.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. He came in.
Or Johnny Majors that year.
Yeah, he's a big deal.
Oh, my God.
But Jim Brown came in fifth. The guy ahead of him was an offensive lineman on Oklahoma.
But that I don't mind. You know, the big beef in the middle, they should get their just due. But not over one of the greatest running backs.
I don't know. He was good. I mean, what did he do in the pros, though, Mike?
Yes. What did he do in the pros?
Mike, thank you
well,
for that.
he never made it to a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, right. Mike, thank you for that one. Yeah, it's Jim Brown not winning the Heisman is clearly an injustice. Should have came up with that one, Pearl. Makes the rest of ours look a little bit silly.
Well, I mean, listen, Johnny Majors and Tommy McDonald could have won it that year, too. It was the Paul Hornung thing is weird because he was actually a great college player, but that year he was terrible, and they gave him the Heisman.
And that was 1956, he said, right? Was
56.
56. So Ernie Davis ends up becoming the first black player to win the Heisman Trophy. 1961, Pearl, do you know Ernie Davis? He had a couple nicknames.
The train.
The Elmira Express. That's a little nod to my upstate New York roots. Okay, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. What is the greatest college football injustice of all time? And what's going on with this Lane Kiffin situation? I think this is so weird that the offensive coordinator can go back and call the plays now for Ole Miss, even though he took a job at LSU, Charlie Weiss's son, Charlie Weiss Jr. That's okay, but Lane can't. All of this is just so weird to me. It's the Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break.
That's a loaded Heisman field. Jeez.
Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Time to go. I have to go to class.
Why don't you call me sometime when you have no class?
Let's find out who made the grade after this weekend's college football action.
He is totally gonna kill at college.
What, like it's hard?
As of this moment, they're on double secret probation.
Maggie and Perloff hand out their college report card.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
College football is crazy. Welcome back, Maggie Perloff Show. You know Bruce Feldman, Fox Sports, and like renowned college football writer. I saw him go on a profane tirade against the committee on X. He called them bleep. He's like, these bleeping idiots have no idea what they're doing. I was like, oh God, only college football can there be so much disrespect for the powers that be, and I love every second of it. So every week we do the college report card. EJ throws these out to us, right? What do we got this week?
All right, so let's go to.
Yeah, you never know.
Let's go to the Iron
Literally
Bowl.
the end of the season.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Iron Bowl.
Bilotti's going to do it.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's go to the Iron Bowl, where it got hairy at Jordan Hare for one Ty Simpson, but Alabama did pull out a close win. What grade are you giving the Bama QB?
I mean, I want to give him like an A+ for all the hits that he took and stayed in this game, converted that 4th and 2 from the 6, which was really impressive. And obviously Alabama moved up a spot, Pearl. I'm going to dock him a little bit. I think that, honestly, I think these quarterbacks are not protecting themselves nearly enough. Ty Simpson, if they get into the college football playoff, they have to play Georgia. You got to be available, man. So I'm going to go from an A+ down to an A.
Yeah, I would give him an A- because he actually could have played a little better, but he's a psycho, and I love it. And I'm upgrading him on the Perloff big board. I had no idea that Ty Simpson was an all-time trash talker. I thought he was like the little nice nerdy guy behind Jalen Milroe. Oh my God, he is so different than I thought. And he's really interesting to me as a player. I'm curious, will he definitely go pro too? I think you got to watch that one. Depends. If Alabama doesn't make the playoff, does he say I want another shot? But I'll give him an A-.
I think he is your next quarterback for EJ's New York Jets. But that's just me.
Okay. I got to ponder on that one.
Okay.
Let's go to the game.
Yeah.
Michigan, Ohio State. Ryan Day now feeling like 94 Steve Young. Got the monkey off his back thanks to his quarterback, Julian saying. What grade are you giving the young QB for Ohio State?
Well, listen, I was actually watching some of the throws to Carnell Tate and to Jeremiah Smith, and the thought crossed my mind, could I make that throw? And the answer is yes. But those guys were wide open, and Carnell Tate, the ball has to just be somewhere in his vicinity, and he catches it. I will never get off this hill that Julian saying, while very, very good, and by the way, another big-time future pro, I mean, somebody was scheming guys wide open for Ohio State in this game. So I'm giving him an NA, not applicable.
Oh, come on. I guess it's Brian Hartline, right, is the guy who's technically scheming that open. Okay, so first two, start of the game was a little shaky. Those two incompletions, one of them was an interception, and thought that, oh my gosh, is this going to happen again? Michigan, this time they're at home. Are they really going to pull this off? Well, Sayin settled in, completed 18 of his next 21 passes, including 3 touchdowns. One was a 50-yard bomb. That's the one Perloff claims that he could make, sure. I got to give him an A+. And I almost want to give to, I'll ignore the early interception, Pearl, because it didn't seem to matter. But California guy at Ohio State, snow everywhere, freezing cold. I was just impressed all around. So he's going to get an A+ in my book.
But actually, it doesn't bother you.
It was a bad pick, though, that he threw.
Two top 8 picks at wide receiver.
Yeah, do I dock Joe Montana for throwing to Jerry Rice? No, I don't.
You should.
Ooh, hot take there. All right, let's go to another team that looks like they're going to be safe in the college football playoff. That is Oklahoma, though things also got really hairy for them against LSU. What grade are you giving their head coach, Brent Venables?
See, this is tough, EJ. You're really tripping us up here because Brent Venables just presided over a 10-2 season, right? They're in the college football playoff. I think they're going to stay in the college football playoff, right? Unless something insane happens. But I think you give them like the A+ for the year. You know, going through a time, Pearl, when their quarterback was hurt, maybe has never been right since the thumb injury with John Mateer, had some really impressive wins this year. So, like, to me, I got to give, like, the season grade almost for Brent Venables. In this game, I'd probably give him, like, a B-. But for the season and going 10-2, I think I would give him an A.
You know,
A+.
I watched a lot of this game. LSU was pretty salty in this game.
Yeah, they were.
Oklahoma's a defense team now, right? Like, I know John Mateer gets a headline, so I think
Venables is the defense guy, right?
Yeah, no, I know. So I got to give him a good grade. He sort of redefined because they were the exact opposite under Lincoln Riley. It took him a while, but I think Brent Venables has built this team in his image, and it kind of works. I got to be honest. I am not wildly entertained by Oklahoma. I thought I was going to come in here and John Mateer was going to run around like crazy like he did last year. You downgraded Texas because they beat an injured John Mateer earlier in the year. Has John Mateer been John Mateer? Has he done the things that we kind of expected him to do here?
Well, as someone who put a Heisman vote bet on him when they beat Michigan, no, he's not.
Yeah, he just hasn't playing like maybe it is
money.
The injuries.
Yeah.
But this is a defense team, so I'll give Venables credit for shaping the team in his image.
What's the grade?
Oh, I'll give him a B+ on that one because you should kind of beat LSU and whoever that quarterback was a little easier.
All right, let's go to the Lone Star Showdown. Texas gets the upset over Texas A&M. Steve Sarkisian talking some big words after the game about injustice if Texas is out of the CFP. What grade are you giving Sark for Texas's performance on Saturday? Friday, actually.
Are we grading him on his performance in the game, or are we grading him on all the press conferences and interviews he did afterwards to try and vie for the Longhorns to make the playoff?
And you understand why coaches could become politicians. You know, there's such a similar skill set. The college coaches are better at it. You know, I've been hard on Sark, very hard. But I'm actually going to give him an A+ for this game, but also an A for fixing some things throughout this season. Pearl, you mentioned fix the run game, fix the offensive line, and, you know, Arch has looked better. He has. So I'm going to give Sark like an A for the season and an A+ for that game.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with that. You know, it was a 2.5 point spread. It wasn't a huge, upset. Honestly, I'm a little more worried about A&M. And Marcel Reed has such, anybody should be able to run that offense. I still question him. There was a great line. Sorry, I know this isn't about A&M, but there's a great line during the game that I guess Casey Concepcion was recruited And he said, I don't know if the quarterback, pointing at Marcel Reed, is good enough to get me the ball. And that is my concern. It's not the talent position players. It's the quarterback. He's great when he's on, Maggie, but he feels so hot and cold, and you saw the cold in this Texas game. So that was a very revealing game to me. I worry about A&M, who I kind of root for. It's a really fun team, but they seem a bit inconsistent. So I give Sark an A. I give Texas A&M a D for that game, and a big W as I'm worried about them. W for worry, not for win, Manny. Don't look at me like that.
Yeah, I was rather confused by that one.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. You get
I get an L for my W.
On it.
I get an L for giving them a W, meaning worried.
The mind of a writer. Let's get to Bogish, who's got the latest headlines.
Guys, we were wondering if the CFP committee would hold Lane Kiffin's departure against Ole Miss at all. It did not. In fact, the Rebs moving up a spot to number 6 in last night's reveal. Ohio State and Indiana remaining atop this list. Now followed by Georgia and Texas Tech. Since Texas A&M lost over the weekend, the Aggies dropping 4 spots to number 7. If you care about such things, Alabama, Notre Dame, BYU, Miami, and Texas sitting 9th through 13th. At one point last night, number 4 Duke had a 15-point lead on number 15 Florida. That edge was gone in the final minute of Cameron.
27 seconds to go. Bounces top of the key. Boozer's got it now. Chinulu there defensively. Dribbles to the right to Evans on the left. He wants a 3. Got it! Big time from Slam. The lead is won. 67-66. 15 seconds to go.
Isaiah Evans hit that 3. Boogie Flan lost the ball for Florida, and then a last gas full court inbounds pass got deflected into open court, so no final shot for the Gators. Duke survives 67-66. Cam Boozer scored 29.
Folks, can you make that kind of call at a Fordham game?
No, for a number of reasons.
Does anything happen on the court that would merit that kind of call?
That's one of the reasons.
But that doesn't
fan support's another reason. My voice is the third reason. So no.
Wait a minute. That's excuses because Gus Johnson puts mustard on all these calls that aren't worth it.
Gus?
I love Gus, by the way. I want more Gus Johnson. I'm not a Gus hater. But he will make a 3rd and 2 conversion in the first quarter feel like you're winning the national championship.
In a game in like October, too.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Which is a problem for some.
He had a dud on Saturday, and he was trying to make it into some. What game did he have?
Oh, gosh.
It was so funny. I'm like, wait.
He had Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the.
Oh, sorry. Then maybe did he have another holiday game?
That game wasn't that great, though. To be
I
honest.
think that he was really bummed that Michigan did not.
No, okay. It wasn't that game. Sorry, maybe it was the week before. He had a game with not great teams.
Rutgers, Ohio State, I think was the week before their game.
That's what. That's what it was.
Won't stand
And
for
Gus
this.
did make it exciting.
For this Ethan Kaliak-Manis slander.
But it's, is that, who was the critic who came after Gus said, it's not about
Mike
you.
Valenti, and I'm trying desperately to grab this sound.
Not a
Keep
critic.
talking about Gus Johnson for a minute.
By the way, it was not just like a mild criticism. It was a blowtorch.
I think he said that he faked his voice cracking on the Indiana catch on purpose.
He did say that, yeah.
Called him a fraud.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
And that was deep, too, because like Detroit, Gus is a Detroit guy and Mike's a Detroit guy.
No, it was personal, like Gus had stolen something from Mike.
Yeah.
It wasn't just listener stuff.
How about EJ mushing our guy Boogie Flan last night, sending a group text? I mean, Boogie Flan was going off. That was some New York City
phenomenal.
hoops. That was
phenomenal
like
until the last play.
Yeah. Oh well.
5th-ranked UConn last night, a 61-56 winner at number 21. Kansas freshman Braylon Mullins scored 17. The Clippers and Chris Paul divorcing in the midst of a 5-16 start, and CP3 playing limited minutes with limited impact. All of this played out overnight with Paul announcing on social media around 2:30 Eastern that he's being sent home from their road trip, which is in Atlanta right now. Team president Lawrence Frank saying in a statement, CP3 is no longer part of the team, but they will work with him on his next move.
Can we say that a network executive needs to sit him down and go, here's the deal, you putz, you're not the storyline. That was such a fake response. He didn't lose his damn voice. He faked it. He's fake. His whole existence is fake.
Do you understand what an incredible broadcaster you'd have to be / voice like actor to fake your voice cracking? in a big moment.
I think Gus could do it. Maybe he is to your point, he is an incredible broadcaster because he can do that.
Maybe
he sits here acting like, oh, U of D. Man, ain't nobody seen you at U of D Jesuit. Shut up, you. Guy's nothing but a charlatan. What a fake-ass call. He ruins everything he touches.
Charlatan.
I mean, I can't imagine feeling anything like that for a stranger.
Honestly, I got banned from the Garden for saying way less.
He's a fake.
Kinda.
Yeah.
But a charlatan, if someone called you a charlatan, that cuts a little bit to the bone.
I don't even know what that means.
I mean, it's not nice.
Like a fraudster.
Oh, why not
You're
just say
pretending to be
that?
something that you're not,
Just
a
say that.
charlatan. It's a good word. It's like a throwback, bro.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
Shakespearean.
I love I was dying. Remember the Gus Johnson controversy? What was the game? It was Colorado USC, right? Where he got criticized because he was way too pro Colorado. Like he was basically like, Colorado scored, like high-fiving everyone in the booth. He was so into Dion. But it was USC on the other side who had I think it was USC, had this high-profile team. It's like, USC touchdown.
Every play on that drive was, oh, my God, because he's fake.
You know what though?
Guy's nothing but a charlatan.
I love the guys who do college basketball, but March Madness with Gus Johnson is a better product.
I don't dislike him.
I think Gus doing
hate
football
him.
is the ultimate experience.
No, Gus
though.
on football is great, but Gus on basketball, NCAA tournament, oh my gosh, right into the biggest vein of my body.
I don't dislike him. I hate him.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't call him a charlatan, but I'm over
Guy's
it.
nothing but a charlatan.
I don't need Gus yelling on March Madness anymore.
Oh, come on, Lexington. I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
You're with Valenti.
I mean, I'm like Valenti adjacent. There's nothing personal.
You dabble in Valenti.
It's just my personal taste in the broadcast. It's just, there's too much Gus.
You want Joe
fake
Buck.
ass call. He ruins everything he touches.
I would like Gus more if Gus saved it for the end.
Do you like Kevin Harlan? He's also someone who gets accused of kind of being over the top.
But I think Kevin is better at preserving it till later in the game.
And the cat is elusive.
I mean, Kevin is always descriptive. There's always extra words in there, and he's entertaining. But Pete Carlin is at the right times of the game. Gus yells too early, in my estimation. You got to save your bullets for the second half, fourth quarter, and I think Gus is shooting wildly from the beginning.
I'm wet. I'm dirty.
And you know what's funny? It never seems to impact Klatt. Joel Klatt, who does, he's just like the steady Eddie. And he's fantastic, by the way.
You can't match that. You just got to let Gus do his thing.
Right. Well, there could be it's the right color guy for Gus too,
Yeah.
because he doesn't. It seems to work in some way. And Joel Klatt he's really good.
Yeah, he's excellent.
It's a chicken wing.
So the two of them together is fine. But I like Valenti too, by the way. He's around the office sometimes. He does a show with Boomer.
Yeah.
Super cool guy.
Yeah, don't get him started on Gus.
I'd say be nice to him when you see him next time. Get him a drink or something. You want to stay on his good side.
Oh, Valenti?
He's not even who he is anymore. He's a buffoon. He is a clown.
Keeps going. I've made 9 cuts in the last 2 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, he's been working.
I mean, I'd say less about the guy that stole my wife. This is it seems so deep and personal.
This has to be decades long for you. They can't be recent. It can't.
Did Gus ever give a rebuttal?
I don't think he did.
Honestly, how do you fire back on charlatan? You got to get a
Guy's nothing but a
thesaurus.
charlatan.
Let me see what the charlatan.
I mean, I think that's a biblical term, no? Even older than Shakespeare?
Maybe. It's possible.
I'd have to take SAT prep courses to come back from charlatan.
All right, charlatan. I can't even spell it. Oh, there we go. I got it. Fraud, pretender, you mount bank, imposter.
What was that one? You mount bank?
It's just mount bank.
Sounds like something you smoke at a MSG boxing match.
That dank mount bank.
I feel like charlatan's one of those words you hear it and you kind of vaguely know what it means, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's a sham.
you don't have to. It just sounds like what it is.
But this sounds like something that should be said right before Alexander Hamilton and Burr do their
Or just like someone takes the
duel.
glove off one finger at a time and slaps you in the face.
Yeah,
thinking,
exactly.
Charlatan. Quack salver. Have you ever heard of that word? A quack salver.
What type of Urban Dictionary is this?
Merriam-Webster.
Ugh.
Merriam-Webster fell off, clearly. Giving us words that don't give us anything.
By the way,
none of this tells me anything.
You know they did Word of the Year Did you guys see that? Merriam-Webster does word of the year.
Oh, yeah. No.
One was aura farming.
Oh, shut up. Was the other one 6'7"?
I just saw the
Well,
aura.
Punter Yurachek is on the committee of the word of the year. He would probably include it.
Let's see. I guess there's a few. Oxford as the word of the year is a little different than others. Rage bait. One of them.
Yes.
Rage bait.
Josina
That's a
Anderson.
Manny Valley.
Josina Anderson and Dole Kleiman.
And Manny
Exhibit A and
Rodriguez.
B.
Yeah.
Aura farming is the other one.
All I
so
do is
rage bait.
All I do is rage bait Andrew Bogusch, and from 5 to 6 a.m.
Did you remember in 2023? Oh wait, 2022. They're giving me Riz has been a recent word of the year. Goblin mode was.
I don't know that one.
Goblin mode, is that when you're sort of like stalking somebody social media wise,
I don't think so.
but hiding?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just context clues would probably tell me that it's when you go crazy, like on the court, you go in goblin mode. I think I missed that
Goblin
one.
mode, isn't that a Tyler the Creator reference?
A goblin is.
I don't know.
By the way, 6'7" is the word of the year for dictionary.com.
Ah.
That's not a word.
No, it's his.
Well, rage bait is 2 words.
We were both wrong, man.
Aura farming.
Goblin mode.
What is it?
Oh, what is it?
According to AI Overview, it's a slang term for the type of behavior that is unapologetically self-indulgent, lazy, and slovenly.
Oh, damn,
right.
I had no idea.
Often
I'm
rejecting
old.
social norms and expectations.
That sounds like a post-pandemic thing. Biohack is another one for this year. Aura farming, biohack, and rage bait. According to Oxford English Dictionary.
What's the word of the year for this show?
Pants optional.
Lane Kiffin.
Lane.
Should do it.
Oh, no. Is Lane Kiffin? Do we have a new EP on hand?
Oh, am I a little obsessed?
Yeah, when
It's not
Maggie
my
gets a
fault.
topic, like a dog.
One more time.
Shador. I think Shador is the word of the year, 2025.
No, it's
Mookie Betts with a slump-busting swing.
Slump Buster. I wanted it to be Slump Buster, but
We tried to trademark that.
yeah, it just the cat it just didn't work out for me. And you guys were also kicking sand in my eyes about it the whole year. That
damn
didn't
right.
help.
And I think we helped you. No, I think we helped.
Kept bringing up the fact that Florida Gators basketball was not in a slump. I mean,
It wasn't.
What else would you call it?
Yeah, I'm sure they're quite devastated that they lost to Duke yesterday. They're like, oh no, how are we going to break our slump from winning the championship last year?
Listen, I asked David Lee. What would he
Actually,
say?
I watched my intro. Bogus is going to laugh at me because I pretend I'm a college hoops expert, but I actually watched enough college hoops. I'm like, whoa, UConn and Florida are both going to be very good again. I don't think you're going to get a slump-busting team in college hoops this year.
Hashtag analysis.
Oh, Maggie will find a way.
Well, there was a big story about 2 potential comebacks. Talk about slump busters. I'll tell you what's going on there.
Wow.
2 major athletes could be on the road back. Who has a better chance to actually win in their respective sports?
Oh,
this
wait.
would be the slump bust of all time.
What a tease.
Do you get a slump bus if the Patriots win the Super Bowl from 2018?
Absolutely not.
Oh no! Get Zach Gelb off the mic.
Wheels are turning.
Maggie
She's
will
looking
sell
for a
it. She'll try
rationale.
and sell it.
I will come back with an official
You got
declaration.
Denver from 2015.
M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Can we say that a network executive needs to sit him down and go, here's the deal, you putz. You're not the storyline.
Lloyd trying to bounce it. Reverses field. Hit the sideline. Lloyd down the sideline. Touchdown Trojans. 27 yards. Marshawn Lloyd.
It's Maggie and Perloff.
He sits here acting like, oh, U of D. Man, ain't nobody seen you at U of D Jesuit. Shut up, you. Guy's nothing but a charlatan. What a fake-ass call. He ruins everything he touches.
4th down and 5. Sanders sprints out of the pocket. Looking. Touchdown, Omarion Miller. Wow. This kid's electric.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Brilliant editing there, you two. EJ, that was you. Manny, that was you. Fantastic.
It was Gus Johnson in the same game, USC Colorado. USC scored. Marshawn Lloyd, 27 touchdowns. Colorado scores.
With a little Mike Valenti in between, calling Gus Johnson a charlatan.
We do not think that, by the way.
No, I love. I'm anti. I love Valenti, but I'm totally opposite of this take. I want more Gus. I want him screaming from the moment he says hello to us to the moment he says goodbye.
Hello.
Would you?
Maggie! I want him to specifically to do an intro for me screaming.
Captain Mags!
Yeah. Would you rather have Gus and Klatt on the national title game or Herbie and Fowler?
Gus on a big game makes it feel even bigger. No disrespect, but I don't actually think Chris Fowler is he's not my number one play-by-play guy.
I don't know. For some reason, though, it feels like Herbie and Fowler are kind of grandfather. It feels like they do the big game.
No, they do. But I think Sean McDonough actually is. I like him as a better play-by-play on college. And I think Greg McElroy does a good job also.
I'd definitely go Herbie and Fowler. And it's just more maybe what I'm used to. And it's funny because Herbie on Thursday is a totally different thing.
No, he's very backseat.
Yeah, I feel like the big game to me, ESPN nighttime, Herbie and Fowler says it. Where Gus is great in that noon Fox game, and he gives you a lot of curveballs. I'm not sure him doing the national title game with that energy would always work.
I'm trying to think who's my favorite college football duo. Got to think about that.
I'm a big Riddick fan on ACC.
Riddick is good.
Really
I like Joe Tessitore on a college game. He was not right for Monday Night Football because that whole broadcast had a lot wrong with it. The Jason Witten, the Booger Mobile, that was not set up for success. Yeah. But Tessitore on a college game is dynamite.
I think it's Tessitore and Palmer for me. They're
very good.
Yeah.
Dusty
Who's
Dvorak
Riddick with right now? Bob Wischusen?
I think he's with Bob Wischusen. They're also very good,
Very
too.
good.
I'll tell you who's the smart. Dusty Dvorak, when he gets it. If that guy says something about college football, he knows exactly what he's talking about. I've seen him do games and make calls about players' NFL futures that was spot on time and time again. And he doesn't get a lot of love, although he has been on the big ESPN set a lot lately. So we'll see.
Okay, talking about some comebacks here. So I coined 2025 the year of the slump buster.
Great job.
Thank you. It felt good when Rory McIlroy won a major, and it felt good when Florida won the national title. It didn't really hold up when it comes to hockey. I will go to my grave saying the Oklahoma City Thunder was indeed a slump bust, but you guys disagreed. Anyway.
Baseball didn't help.
No, the Dodgers really threw a wrench into things. But anyway, talk about some potential slumps that could be busted, Pearl. Two of our most famous and successful athletes, both tiptoeing around a comeback story. One is Tiger Woods, who is chipping and putting these days, despite how many discs now has he had replaced in his back? 5 or 6? I don't know. Another back surgery, basically, is what he's coming off of. He's chipping, he's putting, and it's Tiger, which means he's going to do whatever he can to play another tournament, probably the Masters. And Serena Williams recently was in a pool of athletes who need to be drug tested. So kind of acknowledging that she is still following the protocols of tennis, and maybe thoughts of a Serena Williams comeback. Who do you think would have a better shot of winning a tournament?
Wait,
Tiger or Serena?
So you're going singles for Serena? I mean,
yeah, singles.
So we won't count doubles.
No, singles.
Oh, definitely Tiger, because it's golf.
I know, you always say that, but
Tiger also he never retired, did he?
No.
Yeah, so I definitely think it's Tiger. I mean, listen, there are some funny courses. Tom Watson almost won the British Open at 59. It can be done. Phil won the PGA at 50. Yeah, I mean.
But he wasn't coming off of a back surgery.
Yeah, but the only reason I say that, too, is because Tiger, we never would have thought he'd win the 2019 Masters, and he did it. So, because at 44, I give Serena no chance.
See, I think it might actually be Serena, and here's why. Tiger, no matter what, has to play the course, and his own body has to hold up. You could get through a tournament at times where either someone gets upset in an early round, someone has to pull out with an injury. Your opponent really matters. So could Serena get an easy draw in the Australian Open or something like that and end up winning? Possibly.
Do you have the endurance to get through all those rounds, no matter who the opponent is? Feels like that's what the older players wear out. Tiger's 49. I mean, listen, 44 in tennis, just a blind resume.
It's old.
Feels a lot worse than 49 in golf. And I know he has had back surgery, but he's had miraculous physical comebacks before. Maybe figures out something.
I don't know. He hasn't finished a major in a while.
Yeah, but he did.
Hasn't made the cut or finished.
So he had that huge slump from 13 to 19 and then came back out of nowhere. I mean, I'm not giving either a great chance, but I would go more on the golf side.
You guys?
I mean, I think neither have really any chance, but I would somehow, I can't believe I'm going to say this, I think I would lean Tiger. And I keep saying Tiger Woods should retire. Like I think that it's a waste watching him. But could he get lucky and his back hold up for a weekend? Maybe. Yeah. Serena being 44, I just think that's an age too old.
She lost all that weight though. Not that it mattered. She was, she didn't need to.
I don't know. Tiger's been way too hurt over the last half decade now. I would put my money on Serena.
Yeah. I definitely would rather watch Serena play than watch Tiger play now.
Yeah, no doubt.
For a fact. Like I think Serena could actually probably be competitive.
I felt bad watching Tiger try to walk that course, whatever course it was. It made me feel bad watching him limp around.
It'd be more emotional if Tiger did it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Serena would just be coming back from retirement.
Yeah.
Tiger coming back from the crazy back surgery.
Tiger made the cut at the Masters just 2 years ago. It's not, he made the cut.
Then what happened?
Well, yeah, I know. My guy Victor Hovland didn't that year. I remember I lost a big bet on him.
I remember that.
And that's where we'll end it. Thank you, EJ Stewart, Manny Rodriguez. Great job, guys. Andrew Bogish, Andrew Kaplan, Weedo's Coffee Drinkers. We'll catch you tomorrow.